Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain. Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The feels not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain. GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below. Head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo, lets everyone know we're here. It's been a wild morning. We're dodging. I don't know what we're doing. It's opening day. Happy opening day to those who celebrate. We are hitting some curveballs this morning as we get started. Technical challenges the last couple days proceeded into this morning, but in the mad dash scramble to get things live, I think we pulled it off. So again, thanks for joining us. Give us some love. Get this space warmed up. The up top, all the chats are linked up there. You've got your X native chat, the X video chat, the abstract chat is also up there. I'm going to head over there just in a second. That was one thing I was late. Actually, I haven't even started that stream, so I apologize. I'll get over there and do that right now. And that is our preferred chat, but chat wherever you'd like. Drop us a GMs wherever. The best GMers hit up all 3 or 4. As always, I'm Cap, Jim, I'm co-host Steve. Never any financial advice in the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky. Meme coins are exceptionally risky. Please don't put any money in. You can't afford to lose. Don't follow us into any trades. Know that Steve and I likely hold tokens we'll talk about here from time to time on the show. And more than anything, don't follow us for audio, video, technical advice. We like to pretend that we know our way around tech. I think as things progress, as AI develops, it's going to be a fun AI with Bunchy today. I can't wait. I feel like my timeline has been mostly AI. It has taken over. Excited to talk about all the updates with Bunch here in a little bit. But as AI gets better, I feel we're getting phased out of the technical workforce, Steve. GM, sir. How you doing?
GM, yeah. Little tip, by the way. I have both of our...
Not an echo. It's different audio this morning coming out of your mic. We're fine. Let's power through it. Chat, let us know if it's bad on your end, but I think we're okay.
There we go. Thanks, StreamYard.
Hey, we're good.
StreamYard, once again, 5 days in a row. I swear, I check every single day. I'm like, is my audio right? Is my audio right? And then for some reason this morning, I must have not checked, and it back to default audio. Every day.
It hurt us. It hurt me talking about our technical aptitude, Steve. It's just trolling us.
Yeah, it's just another day in paradise. But no, man, I just making sure people can hear us on the space, because someone was saying no sound earlier. I want to make sure we got sound. So
yeah, it was part of the technical challenges, but I think we're good. Give us 100 in the chat if sound is coming through loud and clear now. I think we're all connected correctly, but
yeah, I hope so. We got a busy day today. We got a lot to talk about. We have ENS coming on in a little bit here to talk about their big announcement yesterday, so that'll be exciting. We'll save that for them. General Wags says we are good on X. GM, Teacher Katie, Green Edge, General Wags over in the abstract chat. Like we say, give us a like or retweet, a comment on the room, on the video on X, and swing over to abstract. The more people who show up in that abstract link that we link through, the more people that we can, the higher we show up in the abstract algo, the better it is for all involved. Like, retweet, comment on the room if you can. GM out there, Dobbins, Alpha Minor, I saw you with the spam emojis earlier. That's awesome. Peanut, everybody playing with the, Dwayne, Screenwriter Dave, Hizzy, Mel, 1 in a Million, Drew, Clay, all the good friends out there. Outer Lumen, G Meow, great space yesterday about the Taproot Wizards traits. You know that like Taproot Wizards has their traits on point when you have a wild Outer Lumen on the team. I mean, that is a given right there. It was she was giving a masterclass in traits yesterday. They were running through everything. Tuned in when I could listen for a little bit. So very cool to see. So yeah, pretty excited though. A lot to discuss today. Again, give us a like, a retweet, a comment on the room. We always say, look, as of yet, anyway, we have not sold anything into our audience besides a best-selling book and some awesome apparel. So if you, the way you can thank us is by giving us a like, or retweet, a comment on the room to help other people discover us. The more people discover us, the better it is for us and our friendly sponsors.
Speaking of, I forgot about the YouTube chat. That was the fourth one. We got Hizzy over there in the YouTube chat again this morning. Opening day, almost a complete roster in Houston this year. Go Stros. I can play a new game this morning, Steve. How many? I've not followed baseball at all in the offseason, but I maxed out my Underdog football pre-draft best ball tournament. So I'm actually going to play $100 one today. Those are few and far between, but I started grinding MLB best ball, not my forte. I've been donating basically, but I'm going to do I've been doing several of the $10 ones, and I'm going to fire into a $75 one here, a single entry after we wrap the show. I think that locks at noon today, so I may not even be able to get in, depending on how fast the lobby fills. But any guesses how many baseball best ball drafts I've completed so far this, and it's all started in like the last week.
14, 69.
That's actually a pretty good guess. No, I think it's
14
right.
was my guess.
Yeah, it's right. Actually, may be on the spot. I'll double check here in a second, but I think that might be spot on, Steve.
That was such a random number. I was just like, I'm going to go with 14. Then as soon as I hit 14, I'm like, I should go higher. So then I went with the 69, but I think 14 is probably the right number. That one's the one that's on the nose there. But yeah, no, it's a busy time. I am not a baseball enjoyer anymore. Just not. I grew up. I like going to the park. I don't care.
It's back. I'm telling you, it's back. The new rule changes. I don't know. Like, I didn't realize this until I started. We went to a spring trading game last Friday. Kind of got the itch. Started diving into some Underdog drafts. It's like, it's almost like the steroid era. Not quite as many home runs, maybe. I think there could be another home run chase again this year, but it's power and speed. Like, there was like a decade plus, there was like almost no steals in baseball. It became negative EV, but now with the new rule changes, the shot clock, this game I went to last Friday is the first time I've went to with the pitch clock. It's awesome. Like, it really does keep the game flowing. And I think baseball could have a comeback with some of these rule changes. Scoring is back up. Steals are off the charts. It's a much more fun, entertaining game. And of all the major sports, baseball is by far the most boring game. Like, it's a struggle to watch it on TV. But live baseball, I think it could have a comeback this year.
Yeah, by the way, RDL, today I learned Coffee with Captains on YouTube. Yep, go over, subscribe, hit likes on all the videos on there. We're starting to go up over there. Actually, a video that I did on Michael Saylor already got 500 views, Payne posted the other day. So that's a nice little like early cook on YouTube, considering we haven't done a ton of move there. Mesh GM said, sorry I'm late. I just finished the Modern Market show. Always acceptable to be late to us from Modern Market. We love those guys. Big fans of what they do on a daily basis. B-Check is how I get my morning started every day. from his snapshot, and then obviously people like Tyler did it. Actually, with that said, I'm gonna pin something to the top. Shameless ask. This is not an engagement farm, and I've been getting buried in the algo lately, so it hasn't shown up quite as much. But I'm gonna start creating. One of the things that's interesting is when I have a bad experience, I always think of like, what do I need to do differently that's better or makes more sense? Like if I'm not getting reach on X, how do I change that? How do I get more involved in certain things? How do I stay more tied to the ground? All those sorts of things. And one of those.
You're talking X. I thought we were going to talk relationships there for a second.
No. Yeah, let's get on the couch. No, Von Frunten, love it. Jumping over to YouTube. It got the mutant on there again. Like all those videos on there. Subscribe, all those good things. We'll try to do our best on there as we continue to grow that. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I thought to myself, you know what? Like my X algorithm is generally a mess. You mentioned you commented on a few sports things and you get a bunch of sports stuff. I'm going to start creating lists and setting more notifications for things I actually care about and want to see.
You know what started popping on mine? I have no idea why. I watched a video, but now every day I'm getting fed the singing cat videos. Like the cat where the cat makes a funny noise and people turn it into a song. Like this is a genre of the internet.
It's not just cat. That's just that song creation is it's not cat specific.
Well, my feed is cat specific. That's the only the animal music I'm getting fed is cat music.
Don't you have like 97 cats though? That's why you've got all these cats in your house.
It's a new thing. It just popped into my feed.
The thing about it is though, I mean, I will say, it's funny we're sending all these people to YouTube. Our abstract is getting murdered now, so it's like it's all the locations.
So I have a question for Hizzy specifically on this. Do you have YouTube Premium, YouTube Pro? Like I used to have it. I used to have YouTube TV. I canceled, and now I find listening because I often listen. I like any content I consume. I'm almost always multitasking, and so I like listen. I like closing the app. I like multitasking on my phone. YouTube is a pain in the ass. Even I can like move the video off the screen and it's still playing, but then it'll stop playing after like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. It's really annoying. I shouldn't be saying how annoyed I am about YouTube as we're trying to send people there, but I'm curious, Hizzy, are you on, is that free YouTube or the pro version? Because the pro version, I agree, it's easier to navigate your phone while the video plays, but on the free version of YouTube, I think it's pretty bad, in my opinion.
Nope, just normal. Because he says good. That said, Cap, let's flip into the news of the day here because
2 minutes on a challenge for the chat. ChatGPT's off the chart with this Gilby stuff. I probably didn't pronounce it wrong. I didn't know what that was until yesterday. I ran back the same hoodie today, Steve, for a challenge for the chat. Steve and I have a rotation of, we each have a rotation of 4 hoodies. 3 of them are exactly the same. What is the percentage chance that Steve and I show up to the same show wearing the same hoodie, knowing that 3 of the hoodies that we rotate through are identical? But there's a 4th one that's different. This is your math challenge for the day. You're allowed to use ChatGPT for help. But again, we each have 4 hoodies we rotate through. 3 of them are identical. What are the percentage chances that we show up to the show on the same day wearing the same hoodie? Do you have a guess?
Wait, you're asking if we wear...
I want to figure it out. This is what my brain went to this morning, is like, what are the percentage chances that Steve and I wear the same hoodie on the same show day? I intentionally ran back the same hoodie as yesterday, thinking that you would not do that. You probably showered and washed your clothes. But yeah, I'm curious, like, so we each rotate, there might be more, but let's just assume for the easy math problem that there's 4 hoodies that we wear one of 4 hoodies every day. 3 of them are identical. What is the percentage chance that you and I show up to the show tomorrow wearing the same hoodie?
Wouldn't it just be like 3/4 times 3/4, and then that's the, like, so it's I
don't know. I don't know how you do that. Is that how you solve it? I used to be good at math, and I'm not like good at like practical math like this. I crushed math, ACT, all that stuff, but then I got into the real world and realized I didn't have to remember any math stuff, and I could just use a calculator or now ChatGPT.
Somebody give us that number, because I'm curious if it's like, so if there's if there's a 3 out of 4 chance, so that's 6 out of 8 times.
But it's not really 3 out of 4. That's the thing, because it's a much lesser chance than 3 out of 4. There's a 3 out of 4 chance that I'm wearing this hoodie, and there's a 3 out of 4 chance that you're wearing this hoodie. But
no, 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 in each of those.
But like
the
chance that we're both hitting the 1 out of 4, it'd be 1 out of 4 times 1 out of 4, right? It'd be 25% times 25%. So 12.5%. Is that our chances?
No, that's not right, because you have to take the you have to basically create that like quad sort of like if there's 4 opportunities in each time, and you have to like do the math on each one. So the percentage chance is, like you said, far lower than you would expect. But I don't want to sit there and get my wheel spinning on math, because guess what? I was a C student in college, so I don't need to do this.
C student, but very good at guessing the number of Major League Baseball drafts I'm in. I mean, actually, kid you not, 13. So the next one, I said I'm going to do at least one more. That'll be 14. You might have guessed it to the exact number. Pretty impressive.
I got I got my GPA.
Are you one of the autistic kids with telepathy abilities? This is apparently a thing now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about this. I'm skeptical, but going to look into it because I find it interesting. Because I actually do believe some of that stuff. I was actually talking to Scott about this yesterday, about like Scott and I both had like this down day on the same day, and we talked about these coincidental things. And I have perspectives where I think I don't know what it is, but I think there's more that we don't understand and know than we do at times. And so it's not like this big woo-woo thing. I don't think it's a hot take, but it's like intuition is a thing for a reason. There's a reason why certain people, I have a higher intuition curve where there's people in this space who are very, very nice, who we've had conversations with. I'm not going to name names, who behind the scenes, I'm like, I don't know, something doesn't give me a good vibe about that person. And then it turns out they're a bad vibes person, but you just have that intuition. Von Frenton says 18.75. You wore the same hoodie on the same day. I don't know if he's pulling that out, and that's true. Also, Takeoff Tone agreeing with you. Free sucks. I don't have Pro, but not being able to use on my phone, this app is terrible. Also, by the way, I also use YouTube to listen. As a side note, while we're emptying the clip on the randomness, I always have some sort of educational thing. It actually drives Dawn. It's funny because like Dawn is like the joy that brings me out of like being serious of I only read nonfiction. I like to like learn things all the time. My brain has to be constantly turned on and learning. I'll be playing Gigaverse or Pirate Nation or something. It's a podcast. It's a video about something I care about. It's a, intellectual debate between two intellectuals going while I'm doing something, while I'm cleaning, while I'm doing whatever. Like, that's what I constantly have going. And then I look over and Dawn's like, did you see this video of like the kitten singing? Right. Like that's what she'll go, like your algorithm. So I need that.
I mean, that's the random stuff. My selected listening of choice is very similar. Like I always have, it's either like the AirPods have been the best or the worst thing to happen to me. I'm not sure yet. It's increased the amount of content I consume 20-fold maybe, because I basically like go through the day with one earpod in and I listen to educational content at 1.5 or 1.75x speed. So I consume a lot of stuff. If I'm mowing the yard, if I'm doing dishes, if I'm doing anything that I don't need 100% of my brain, I'm consuming something that's some sort of education, some sort of information, whether it's business or sports or, a good interview I want to hear.
What's wrong with us? Like, what's wrong with us? Like, that is, I am the same way. I don't have an option.
The best thing or the worst thing, because like I realize I'm consciously aware that it's probably not healthy for twofold. One, to be constantly having information jammed in my brain, and two, there's probably some negative health benefits of like Bluetooth always on near my brain. Like I'm not like Bluetooth is bad and it's gonna fry your brain type of person. If it is, I'm screwed. But I get like it's probably the worst part of it is probably just always like I'm already struggling with turning my brain off, and so I'm exasperating that by feeding information into it every waking hour of my day.
Yeah, I will say, Diablito, I agree with this. I hardly use Google. I like to wonder. I agree. I actually think that there is value. I don't know how to quantify this. I have no scientific data to back this up. I think there is value to everybody saying, who is that person in, that movie? It was like Hard Target. It was like 1994 or something. I don't know. And then you all index your brain and go, boom, Jean-Claude Van Damme. There's value to going through the file cabinet of your brain, not being able to find something and finding it. I think it's a bicep flex for your brain, but I don't know. But that's just my or bicep curl for your brain. That's my take. But I don't know. Anyway, but that's kind of my thing.
I learned today because I had to look it up that what's his name? Jeremy Allen White was in Shameless, and I watched that show. I never put that together because I saw some other clip, and I actually had to Google actor in Bear movie where his name is Lip. And I didn't realize he was Lip from Shameless. And like I watched the series a long time ago. I was a fan of Bear and became aware of the actor during Bear, but my brain did not connect that he was also a character in Shameless, a show that I watched. I maybe have consumed a tad too much cannabis, Steve.
Yeah, no, it's it could happen. But yeah, I think long story short, I think we both are these weird constant learners. And I do have a I do have an ability. I do have like a lack of an ability to turn it off, which is a problem for sure. Cap, we got a lot though today, and I know we got.
I think it is the confirmed answer. It sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like it. We have and you ask ChatGPT, they'll show you your work as well, which is awesome. And look, I asked ChatGPT. I tweeted about it like 2 years ago or something. I asked ChatGPT, "Can you do algebra?" And they said yes. And it helped me with my daughter's homework because I was not capable of doing it myself because I am not a smart person. But let's do this. Let's go and move on to, we have a couple things. We might even save this one to tomorrow because it's meaty. I need someone to explain Hyperliquid to me and what happened. I just haven't been paying attention or locked in on that at all. I know you texted me about it yesterday. You're like, here's a good thread. I was like, I don't know. Maybe we'll save it for the show. We have, I don't know, 80 or 90 Taproot Wizards going on sale today. The 0.42 Bitcoin is the starting auction price.
Where do you think it settles at?
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, like, there's only.
I don't know. I think it'll go above mint just because there's only, was there 90 of them?
Oh, I think above mint is programmed, but we're talking mint was 0.2. Other people minted them for 0.1. Other people still acquired 2 Quantum Cats at like 0.15. So theoretically, they acquired it for half an ETH, right? Because they would have gotten like 0.15, 2 cats, entangled them and got it. So I don't know, man. 0.42. What's your you think it sells out instantly at 0.42? You think it goes down to 0.35? Because that's going to matter on the secondary, won't it?
Maybe. I really don't know. It's just the quantity is so few, and it doesn't like literally one person, like one of the ancient Bitcoin whales, could bid out the whole thing. Like it's such a so I expect them to go, but I don't know if it will. Like yeah, it will for momentum play into the secondary, but I don't know if it's as correlated as would be like a larger supply.
Give me a prediction on price. What do you think the final resting price of the Dutch auction is?
0.33.
0.3. That's wait. 0.3369, you say?
0.369.
0.369. That's interesting. Your initial one was 0.33. It's funny because I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to prices right you. I'm first of all paying. They're not NFTs. They're ordinals. Come on.
And honestly, though, this actually stuck out from the interview with Udi. Like, it's not lost on me that he said he hated NFTs. Like, the founder hated NFTs, and you know, as they were launched. So this is I take it as this mint is the part of the objective here is to introduce more people to ordinals, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think it's also a unique. I've said this before. At some point, Bitcoin people are gonna like want to say, you know, putting red lasers in our eyes is a little creepy, and people think maybe we're up to something on the internet that like is actually not what we're up to on the internet. So at some point, I think they're gonna want a PFP that's like, hey, this is a little bit in different vibes with us. I think Taproot Wizards, as much as anybody, feel like a culture and a crew within Bitcoin that I understand, like the video allow list, the learning, the fact that they're doing actual upgrades to the chain, all these different things tell me like there is a strong focus on like the reason I think a lot of Bitcoin people probably don't like NFTs is a lot of Bitcoin people think ETH is a shit coin to begin with. And then on top of that, you're putting JPEGs on the blockchain and they don't get it. What I think we were lacking, which is one of the reasons it was one of my theses with On-Chain Monkey that hasn't quite played out as much, although, you know, I know that they have a lot of really good OGs in their space, is that at some point, we're going to see people in Bitcoin who actually are truly of the culture of Bitcoin creating something like this on Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin people say, you know what? Maybe I just won't throw those silly laser eyes up. On the other hand, you're asking Bitcoin people to spend Bitcoin, which is like a sort of a deadly sin. But I'm going to go straight to Outer Lumen. Outer Lumen, I don't know if you heard early on, Great job on the space yesterday. Awesome. Little video share on the traits. GM, feel free to get in with whatever you want here. Oh no, I can't hear Outer Lumen. Is your
I got no audio either.
Let me see if it's on the it looked like she was talking to the space.
Let's get a mic check from Joey. Joey, can you come off mute?
No, it's coming through my ear, but it's not coming through there.
Mother.
Can't hear Joe. I can hear Joey only through the actual space, but I can't hear Joey through the soundboard. So I don't know if we have to like do the unplug and plug back in just to make sure, because I know we got ENS coming on here and then bunching a little bit. Want to give it a go?
Check.
Oh man, we are down horrendously. They're talking, not happening. I'm gonna do this for the sake. She's asking you if you turn your computer off and on.
I did, yeah. How's it working now?
Man. All settings the same?
Yeah, everything looks right on my end. I have no idea what's going on.
We probably need to do a test space later today, but here's how I'm going to power through this. I'm going to go headphones off, mute on here, and we're going to do it that way so that we can still cover the stream people. Unfortunately for the stream people, until we figure it out, stream people on, because there's no other people on sound and video, are not going to be able to hear the space. The playback on YouTube is not going to play the space.
Oh, shit. Let's go. Check now. Check.
Test.
Let's
Hello.
go. All right. Outer Lumen, get in here, GM.
That's amazing. You guys are troubleshooting something every day, and I'm so here for it. This is incredible. I love it. Okay. What I wanted to say, two things I wanted to say that I'm excited about. Number one is we made an honorary for Toli, who is a co-founder of Solana, and I pinned it up top because he's like wearing it as his PFP, which is epic. And that is because for the auction today, not only are we taking Bitcoin and you can auction in Bitcoin, which is like a whole thing on its own and is amazing, but we are also accepting Sol. And so because if you use your Phantom wallet, you can bid in the auction with Sol, but you will get your ordinal sent to the attached ordinal wallet in Phantom because it's multi-chain. And I'm pretty sure this is the first ordinal kind of sale that isn't available in two chains. So that's what I came up to say. I don't know if people caught that or knew that, but yeah, it's not only for Bitcoiners. People can also use Sol to participate in the auction, and that goes right into what you said about onboarding and this idea of getting other people into the Ordinals community.
So I actually did see that, and I actually thought that was I actually did think that was a cool I did think that was a cool little feature there. I did have a question though. Does the team just want to stick it to ETH a little bit, or was that just a technical challenge? Because I was laughing about that because I saw that and my immediate thought was, this is really cool, because as a nerd, I thought that was a cool thing. So shame on me for not bringing it up. I kid you not, this is not just making this up. I was going to say you could mint on Sol, and then Cap and I went down some rabbit hole of some sort. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe I was yelling at Payne about NFTs and ordinals. So I did see that, and I thought it was cool. Does the team just want to stick it to ETH? Is that just the move here? Because that was another. I saw that and I was like, why not have a mint on ETH where a lot of these people on Twitter are?
Absolutely, we hate ETH. No, most people on ETH that are collectors mess with ordinals quite a bit. Actually, there's a huge overlap there. I don't know. Sol just seemed like something that made sense for that kind of degen culture. I feel like anyone who's on ETH is already into ordinals in that kind of way. And yeah, trolling is hilarious. Why not? There's so many different reasons. But yeah, I feel like at this point, most people are kind of in that trio, right? The Sol, ETH, and Bitcoin trio. So I feel like adding Sol or ETH really just onboards either of people from that ecosystem. And yeah, I mean, who knows? I think the future is probably going to see even more chains added. I want to see mints from anywhere that include other chains. Just think of how enriching that is if you can show up, given all, the wallet structure now supports that kind of thing. there's no reason why you should be able to shop directly with whatever chain you're on and get your token in your wallet into the respective chain.
Yeah, I actually love DW2 in the chat say they just knew nobody wanted their soul anymore, which I think is a good assessment as well. But no, that that does track actually. That's actually a really good point. I think a lot of people are on I think a lot of people who are on ETH already are over on Bitcoin. So I will not ask Otter Lumen because it is her job for a final guess on a resting price, but mine was actually going to be, I was going between two numbers, 0.33 or 0.36. I'm going to go 0.33 as a final resting price number. I just feel like it'll start kind of like, with some people jumping out the gate, a few more people will come along, and then like people will find, there will be like this sudden rush somewhere between that 0.35 and sort of 0.33 number, I think. So that is my guess. We shall see how close I am and how close Cap is. Cap says 0.369. I say 0.33-ish is going to be my final guess. And then we'll see what happens on secondary. It'll be interesting if there is FOMO or people coming in, but either way, going to be a fun one to track for sure. Excitement around mints is something that we don't have enough of anymore. And then for people who don't know, following the Dutch auction, within, I think, 24 hours tomorrow, your Taproot Wizards will be delivered alongside everybody else once it closes, and we go from there. Joey, go ahead and get in here, and then we will keep running through new stuff before we have a couple guests come on in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think with as little supply as there is, I mean, I know we're like, you guys are in the 0.33 range, but I feel like with as little supply as there is, there's a good chance this could do something crazy. Because I think there's enough people in the ordinal ecosystem with enough Bitcoin that if they want it bad enough, the number could go pretty high, which is why I'm kind of a little confused / taking the other side of the argument of like onboarding people to ordinals. Like, I don't think the Taproot Wizards collection, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm glad Outer's up here, I don't see the Taproot Wizards collection as like the onboarding people to ordinals collection. I see this collection more as like go ahead, Cap.
No, I finished your thought. I cleared my throat before I upped my volume on my mic before I cleared my throat. It was bad order. I'm off. I need reset myself. I need to unplug and plug myself back in this morning. Go ahead. I'll come in after you.
Yeah, I feel like the Wizards collection is more for the people that have been here, are already here, see the value of ordinals communities and ordinals art because of, number one, the limited supply, number two, what you had to do to get one, and number three, the price. Like, if the Wizards wanted to, if the idea from Udi was to like onboard people to ordinals, I don't think he would launch a small collection that cost,
so
whatever it is.
I'm going to push. I'm going to go ahead and come in and just push back a little bit because we didn't say onboarding to Taproot Wizards, rather onboarding to ordinals. And I think it's a really good approach the way they're doing it with a higher entry point, capturing other founders, influencers, KOLs, whatever you want to call them, when you have Tolly, the founder of Solana, rocking an ordinals PFP. That is onboarding a lot of people. Maybe not to Taproot Wizards. Maybe there's not a lot of people that see, this founder of Solana rocking an ordinal and they go buy a $20,000 mint. But there's a high probability they start paying more attention to ordinals. I saw Illa had his honorary. I don't know if it was actual real or if it's a troll. Do the honoraries get 5 free Taproot Wizards?
That was like the biggest troll, and it's so funny. Yeah,
it is funny, and I read it as a troll, but I also saw some people get upset about it. Like, I don't necessarily like. It's funny
if you don't know it's a troll. Of course, you'd be upset.
And it's not this specific issue. I think it's a compounding effect of crypto Twitter has become so much shit posting and trolling that people don't know what's real and what's not. As soon as I saw, I was like, oh, that's a troll. But then I saw other people getting big mad about it. And it made me like, just quite like, I understand why they would be mad. The whole, like, we came out of last cycle and it's, the rich get richer. And the people who already have, created serious wealth in this, they're getting 5 more free, that's, multiple Bitcoins worth of free stuff. I knew it was a troll, but I can also appreciate that. And it's not an Ordinals thing. It's not a Taproot Wizards thing. It's a crypto Twitter thing. In my opinion, Steve, I just think it went too far on the engagement, bait posting, impression farming. This isn't even specific to this, but I think why that troll got some people big mad was because of the state of crypto Twitter where it is currently. And this shit, it's like sometimes it is hard to tell what's real and what's just a troll or a shit post.
So this is
I agree with that. I've fallen for that so many times when you just have to, you look, like, so many times I turn to Divide and I'm like, do you think this is a troll or do you think this
I don't like it personally.
This
I don't
is where we are in the space.
And I don't
anything like that's just so, yeah, it's absolutely, we are there where you're like, is this real or is this not? And I don't know if it's a testament to like that we're all accepting this or that such crazy things happen that we actually don't know what's real or what isn't anymore.
Or both. I think it's probably partially both. I think it's a combination of both. And because of that, because so much crazy stuff does happen in this space, personally, I don't really like the engagement baiting. I don't like the trolling. I don't like the shit posting because we were just talking about how much content and information I consume. X is where I go for my news. Like I don't watch other news sources. I don't read a bunch of blogs. Like X is where I go for my real-time news. So when my feed is now, when I have to look at everything and determine, is this real or fake? And I say this like a curmudgeon old man because it's only going to get worse with AI. It's going to be so much easier to fake shit and make things, just put it out there for impressions and engagement. I'm personally not a fan.
But Cap, I don't want to be that guy. Like, this is what happens. And like, this is actually not because we're talking about it like it's a crypto problem. It's a world problem. My kids watch stuff all the time, which is clearly set up on YouTube that has nothing to do with this stuff. It's just making its way. It's a category of content.
Simplified in crypto because crazy shit does happen here. And often it is financially motivated or there's a lot of money involved in these things. Whereas like, a random video on the internet may be real or fake. It's not swinging thousands or millions of dollars in financial markets. Like
yes, and I get that. It's a classic like stupid play of like it's a variation of a thing that we've done our whole lives before digital, which is I put my hand towards your face and you flinch, and I laugh at you from flinching, and it's like, of fucking course I'm supposed to flinch. If I stand still when you throw your hand at my face, I'm a moron. That means I'm willing to get hit. That's called reflexes and reactions. And it's the same sort of thing. Someone puts some rage baiting thing online that is believable enough. I mean, it's like, it's sort of and I'm not like, this isn't like a commentary one way or the other. And I know it pissed a lot of people off. The Get Rich Nick, like yacht, like, did he like,
is that when it started? Is that when it really became like a part of the?
No, it's always been a thing. It's like
it's at least on my feed, my experience, it's gotten increasingly worse over the past year. I feel
because people don't just do it it's not a funny joke anymore, and they think the funny joke is you got. So it creates this culture of skepticism. So like those sort of NBA Sentinels and ones like that.
That's a real question for Outer. Do the honoraries get one Taproot Wizard? Do they get do they have the ability to mint one and pay for one? Do they get one free? Like I have no clue. Like, did Tully get, or is it just an honorary? I don't know. Did Illa get the ability to mint one because he got an honorary? I really don't know how that got rolled out because all I saw was the shit posting.
As far as I know, they just get honoraries. I have no idea, but definitely that post wasn't real because though you could see some of the people actually minted some of the wizards that are in that post.
And there was like 5 like uber rare ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they just picked like the 5 grail types and put them in together. And I think like if you knew the collection, it was obvious. And if you didn't, of course, you'd think that. But also like every one of those kind of posts always has people that obviously know it's not real and people that believe it. And that's just how it goes, no matter what kind of, like, did Clemente really get $70 honey? I don't know. It doesn't matter. That wasn't the point.
Yeah, and I think like, and then there's also
I'm reading the comments on Illa. I think most of the people think it's real. Like their comments are like it's just it's so hard to differentiate now. Like the commenters, like, are they just in on the troll, or do they actually think it's real? Like then this is not a Taproot Wizards issue. To the earlier point, to Steve's point, it's a world, it's a society thing now. But I feel it is exasperated on crypto Twitter. I feel it is to the extreme on crypto Twitter lately.
No, it's existed for a while. I mean, even like remember when the eating the cats and the eating the dogs things happened, and like some of the LA Vape Cabal people like flew to Ohio and yeah, Ebrin got you on your singing cats.
Wait a
spoiler
second.
alert.
You're telling me the cats singing art isn't even real? Jesus.
But yeah, like I think like this is
What is real on the internet? Steve, are you a real human? Like, what is going on? All my things I've been
You
enjoying.
choose a side. Either you believe every single thing or you believe nothing. and then you go through like your own personal filter. You're like, everything is true until I'm proven that it's not, or everything is real. I don't, because otherwise it's just to make it fun. I don't know. It's definitely like, I mean, to your point, Cap, I think the fact that there is definitely, you know, some finance involved and that kind of thing is definitely makes it a bit different than like, you know, Steve and I's kids getting trolled on the internet and that kind of thing. But even that could, you know, could have consequences. Although I feel like, I don't know about your kids, Steve, but my son's pretty desensitized to a lot of that stuff just from how like much he lives on YouTube with content creators. He's very like, he's pretty aware of the stuff that goes on as far as influencer marketing is concerned and that kind of thing.
They're becoming more aware, but like the reason
we should be aware. We grew up in the era of Jackass, Steve. Like we were programmed for this to different, but it's like,
but that's so different. Like again, like
very different.
Prank humor is different than what you see on the internet. Like, and again, I don't want to go to like deep down this rabbit hole. This is probably a Friday conversation because like it is a like people like. The only reason I brought it up is people are like, in crypto, they do this. I'm like, we're like last to this trend. It's like I kid you not. Like, it's like again, the stuff my kids watch where it becomes dangerous is when like, YouTubers claim they've done something dangerous that's safe. And then like, they're like, do it too. Haha, look what happened to me. And like, it's just, it is a culture of things. And then like, there's this gotcha culture where it's like, hilarious, I got you. It's like, well, you did a bit. You stayed true to the bit. You tried to like make it like it was. So it's like, it's one thing if it's like obviously a joke. Like, Jakey's morning routine is funny and did really good numbers, and people know that's probably not his normal routine every day. Like, right? Like, it's meant to be intentional satire. But then other people do things where it's like they do something and they're like again, that one where the Vape Cabal with the eating dogs, eating cats thing, they're like, we're being chased by people in Springfield, Ohio. And there were like literal people who believe that they were like, there was this big conspiracy going on and they wanted to chase down the LA Vape Cabal because they were in Springfield, Ohio, asking about the dogs and the cats, right? Like, and like, that's like part of the content they do. That's fine. But like, I think like it's just a style that is, it resonates with some people. It doesn't resonate with me. And like, then there's this gotcha of like, haha, hilarious. You're not, you got. It's like you stuck to the bit and tried to make it really, really true until I said, okay, I finally believe you. And you're like, ha, I got you. It's like, well, I said it was fake 10 times. So it's a culture and there's a thing that's happening and it's a style of video. It's pretty much all influencers now do this. Like, oh, I'm going to order DoorDash and I'm going to like do this to the DoorDash driver. And like the DoorDash driver is actually their friend and they're setting the whole thing. It's like a whole culture of like trying to fake videos and be like, I can't believe they just did that. So it's not my style. It's on its way into crypto. I don't particularly find it funny, but like other people do. So I'm just an angry old man yelling at a cloud.
Staying true to brand, I'm pronouncing the long E word incorrectly. Apparently there's two of them and I don't even know how to pronounce the two.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Which email?
Mash in the abstract chat says cap, exasperate. I can't even say either one now. Is a different word from exasperate. I don't know.
Exacerbate versus exasperate. Exasperate is when you're like, oh, like, and you're like, exasperated was what I was when the live stream went down yesterday. Exacerbate is when you make a problem worse or make something, I should say, further along in that way. So like the problem is exacerbated by the fact that your power flickered off again, and therefore, right? It's like exacerbated makes things worse. And so
I will do one of two things. I will either continue to use both words incorrectly, or I will remove both words from my vocabulary because there's a very low probability that I actually get those two right. It's just how my brain's wired. I'm not dyslexic, but when it comes to words like that, because I've said it incorrectly now, I will confuse in my head for probably the rest of my life.
So in this instance, him correcting you exacerbated the problem because it made it so that it was like more so you were, yeah. And yeah, when you try to come up with them, you're just exasperated. So anyway, that is the use case right there. So Crypto Pain.
Don't feel bad. I'll tell you my two mix-up words. I mean, I have them now, but when I was learning English, digress and touche. I used them wrong so many times when I was younger. It was hilarious. Somebody would say something and I'd be like, digress, and really what I meant to touche.
Which is so interesting.
How about my favorite part of this whole thing is Outer has a better understanding and usage of the English language as their second language than I do.
Yeah, I also like we got Payne in the chat saying I would prefer you keep using them incorrectly to Cap. Which is amazing. I like died at that one. It's also like funny because I
This is
forget.
not a bit, by the way. I will lean into it for the bit, but this is my real me.
Yeah, there was
or digress.
digress. But no, now the funny part is I like am the person who has like an inside joke or reference to a movie, and if somebody catches it, I know that's my homie. But if they don't, I don't care if they catch it. They might just think I'm weird. But the problem is that extends to things like this. Like I'm going to be talking to Dawn at some point and she'll say something. I'll be like, digress. And she'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, cause she's at work right now.
Yeah, we need these on the bingo card, you guys. I'm dying.
And Mush, no apologies. I appreciate you calling attention to this.
Yeah.
I would have been saying it wrong and not knowing for the rest of my life. Now, at least I know when I'm mispronouncing a word or using the wrong form of a word or the wrong word entirely, that it's at least a thing.
I also like the fact that like Cap's emotional support vocabulary sometimes, because like I love the English language because there's always a better way to say that. Like I get a bunch of shit for using words like reductive or bifurcate or all these other things, but like there always is a more elegant word you can use to, further the discussion. Like I used heuristic the other day and people were like, heuristic, big word. I'm like, it's the right word for the situation. Like I could use other ones, but that's the one. And so, I don't know, like the, it's funny. Like, we'll keep powering through this thing. I do like language as bad as I am at math. So, which is weird because both my kids are good at math, which makes me think I probably just didn't like it and didn't work hard enough at it. Probably. Cap, I know we're hoping to get, Payne is saying we're flat out ostentatious today. But let's keep things moving because I know hopefully we got ENS joining us here in a little bit. We can check on it. If not, we'll have them on the show another day. I know I had sent them the invite for today, and a couple of them might be coming through to talk about it. So we'll pin that announcement they made, which I think is really cool with their wallet abstraction they're doing until we talk to them. Hopefully they can make it through. I think regardless though, Cap, we think we got our Taproot Wizards resting price. Okay. Do you see this Kaido thing? And might be like a tomorrow conversation to talk about. There's two things about Kaido that I found interesting this morning. Have you been following any of this?
I am, but I'm not sure what you're. I'm following Kaido, but I'm not sure what you're referencing.
So there are two things going on in Kaido. Thing number one that I'll say, and then I'll get to my other point, is they are doing this. I actually saw it in B-Check's snapshot because Kaido has completely fell off my radar. I don't use it. I don't go there anymore. I need to start. I don't care about it as much as I should. And I understand how people are using it. It said announcing Yapper payouts starting in April, will be launching ongoing Kaido rewards program. $5,000 in staked Kaido will be split amongst the top 50 Yappers and top 50 emerging Yappers. I don't know if you have to have Kaido staked in the first place to get that or not. And it says this means consistent rewards for people posting high impact crypto content, putting a spotlight on both and emerging Yappers. With this, our strategic Kaido reserve will be funneling back into the community. And so this program where they're giving away $5,000 a week of Kaido is one. Is
that part of the I know the founder just recently bought $1.5 million worth of Kaido. I wonder, was it him and he just sitting on it, or was it Kaido bought that and is going to use it now for these rewards?
I think it was Kaido. And I think we got a Didi coming up who's going to give us a little bit of the ENS alpha anyway. So we'll get into that here in a second. But before we flip over to that, we got her coming up the stage. But before we flip over to that, yeah. So there's a $5,000 rewards. And then my other question to you, and maybe we'll put a pin in this one for tomorrow because we can switch over to special guest here, is do you think that Kaido is, as a tool, is Kaido just going to be an airdrop farming tool? And maybe this is a conversation for tomorrow, but like, I'm realizing like one of the parts that I think is actually noteworthy, and maybe they're just leaning into it, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, is they have this, 7 new pre-TGE projects going live on the Yapper leaderboard tomorrow. Voting will begin on them 2 days later. Is it just going to be like, hey, like, are they going to drive the conversation? Their sales pitches, you get on Kaido, people are going to get paid $5,000 a week on aggregate across 50 and 50 Yappers, 50 emerging Yappers. So we're just going to have them talk about your stuff. Is it effectively a marketing firm that doesn't have to deal with the actual KOLs and just lets it roll?
I would call it much more of a marketing firm or agency or marketing partner than a farm. Not like, I guess, yes, it's in a sense it's a farm, but I don't think it's not going to be as simple as just putting $sign portal and you're going to get those rewards. Like it is going to reward. I believe so far they have a pretty good track record of actually rewarding. Like the Yapper leaderboard is usually people, like if you look at the daily Yapper leaderboard, it's usually people who had a viral tweet the day prior because they put out a post that was, very well written on something that the space was talking about. So yes, I believe it's going to be a new go-to-market strategy for crypto native projects and brands. I think I also did see related to Kaido, and yeah, we probably pumped the rest of the conversation just because it's a deeper one, but I also saw they're recruiting an artist. I think they want to, they're in discussions of converting their Genesis Pass, the NFT that's around 2 ETH, into a PFP. I don't know if it'll be like a burn for the PFP or you can get a free PFP if it's only going to be those pass holders, but talking about building, some IP, some branding around, those yappers, if you will.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's do this. Let's punt the conversation. And for funsies, and by the way, James, I know you might be out there. James Beck, ENS, give a request up if you get a chance in the bottom left-hand corner.
He's showing it. He's showing us a speaker on my end.
Well, there you go. You know what? This is the beauty of the technology. James, good to have you up here. Aditi, good to have you up here. The beauty of the technology is, as much as X Spaces have been running, sometimes it shows us things, sometimes it doesn't. So here's what we're gonna do, Cap. Even though The More You Know is a segment we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's play the jingle in the video just because we might as well, because we love ourselves some ENS. So we're gonna play the jingle, and we'll get into this thing.
The more you know. Brought to you by ENS.
You don't like a cheesy game show jingle. You hate fun. You hate joy. That's all I have to say. But really excited because we have 2 guests up here. We have James, who's coming to us from ENS, and then we have Aditi from Para, who did had a big announcement yesterday. So before we get into the sort of how and the why and everything like that, I do want to go over to James and let James, I'm not even going to steal the thunder of what the announcement is. James, talk about what you announced from the ENS perspective yesterday with Para.
Hey, how's it going, guys? The more you know. That was
right? People literally, you're not alone. People come on and sing that thing. Like one day we had our tech out and a group of people on the stage sang it in unison. So they love the jingle.
Sick. Yeah, I appreciate it. I tuned in when you guys were having that conversation about misnomers and using big words or saying words incorrectly. And, it takes a good friend to be able to tell you when you're using a word incorrectly. So I thought that was pretty amusing. But let me get to it. So yeah, yesterday we announced that Para is now our embedded wallet solution for app.ens.domains. So I think a lot of you probably, well, what's interesting is this crowd tends to be more experienced NFT holders. You can tell by everyone's PFPs. You can kind of tell that, people are used to using MetaMask and other self-custodial wallets. But one thing that started happening starting in 2022 was this sort of advancement in how people can use wallets. And, even in the 2021 glory days of the NFT era, people would often have issues with wallets, whether it was, I was working at MetaMask at the time, and a lot of people first downloaded their first ever MetaMask wallet, not to trade, not to do DeFi, not to trade meme coins. It was to get an NFT. And we had up to, 20 million downloads in 1 year. And oftentimes the idea of downloading a browser wallet, remembering your secret recovery phrase, knowing that associates your private key with all of your assets. That was kind of tough to teach people. And we always said, or I remember saying, because I was part of the marketing team, was, wouldn't it be great if we had a wallet solution that you could just literally use an email or a phone or any other of your preferred logins? It would create a private key for you, and then you could log in without even knowing you have a wallet. And so a number of companies built that over the last couple of years. I joined ENS about 2 months ago and realized that they had been sort of in a couple-year engagement with Para to try to, it was formerly called Capsule, so Aditi can talk about it, but they basically had gone through a technical assessment and realized this is the embedded wallet solution we want. So when you click connect now on ens.domains, Para is one of the first options. And what it does is it lets you log in with a phone number, an email. You can, even log in with your Apple ID, or there's a lot of other login methods. And then it automatically creates an address for you. And then you use your phone's passkey to basically authenticate that you are the owner of this wallet. So the real short slogan we've been saying is you can now get an ENS name without even having a wallet. So that's the update.
Yeah, I mean, that is so big to me because we have this, and Cap, I'm getting a little echo on your end. I don't know if you hit any buttons. Oh, sorry. But that is so big. And I don't think people realize how big that is because, back, I think it was September, you partnered with Venmo and PayPal and you're able to kind of use the ENS in that way. And I think people sometimes don't grasp that the same way the portability across the internet is so important. And, right now it's like, how many people are like, shit, I just signed up for another ESPN account or another Disney account because I couldn't remember my password and I didn't have this one. And now I have this one logged in through this email and this one. Like having that streamlined through one name, you own one thing in life and it is your name throughout your entire life, right? And the owning that digitally becomes increasingly important as you continue to grow. And I think the way you're able to imagine, you're able to like, hey, do you have Venmo, PayPal, Zelle? Oh, your Venmo is your Yahoo, but your Zelle is your bank, but it's like when I was getting a cab ride in France, for example, an Uber ride, they dropped Cap off. Actually, we took an Uber together because we're basically hetero life partners at this point anytime we travel. And they dropped Cap off at his terminal and they're bringing me to mine. And like, she's like, oh, can you PayPal me? Didn't work. Or do you have this? Do you have that? And it took us all this time together to not just start a new ride, do it. Didn't work like that. And it's like, if I was like, what's your ENS? I could use any of those services in the future in that way. And so I think people don't grasp how relevant having that portable digital identity is. And so I love this idea of abstracting the wallet. And I want to go to Aditi, who, as far as I'm concerned, Para is doing the Lord's work. We're not just saying this because ENS is a sponsor. Like, I think it's actually hyper important to do this. I actually want you to talk a little bit about the importance of this single sign-on, because I don't think people necessarily, even our audience, even us sometimes, understand most people aren't trying to send money to Coinbase, write down a 24-word seed phrase, send it over the bridge, hope that it gets there, wait for it to cross a blockchain. Oops, your transaction got so. Most people probably just want to sign up with their same email they use. Is that the theory?
Totally. Also, hey guys, thanks for having me. This is super, super fun. Echoing James, love the conversation you guys were having before about Taproot, Wizards, and all the misnomers and stuff. Love it. On our side, exactly your point. It's really like making the sign-on really easy. And that technology has kind of been around for a long time, like sign up with Google. Like we're used to the Web 2 corollaries of what that looks like, what that kind of design pattern and UX looks like. But the additional kind of allowing that wallet that's now created on behalf of you with this like sign up with Google to be usable across different app experiences is kind of the magic. Like the reason why we all got into crypto was because maybe we went through the pain of downloading a MetaMask, securing a seed phrase, but then we, figured out how to degen, we're earning yield during DeFi summer, put that yield into NFTs. Like we are staying in crypto because we're kind of leveraging composable experiences with this kind of universal identity that we now have, right? And the reality is a lot of the newcomers coming into crypto, when they're creating, email wallets associated with their emails, they don't really, traditional kind of email wallets don't have the ability to kind of move across apps. And that's really what leads to people kind of having these siloed, fragmented experiences where they're not actually able to kind of get the reputation they want with their ENS name or kind of grow their kind of wallet the way they want. And so ENS is really, I think Vitalik said it the best. It's like the most OG consumer app in crypto that isn't financialized. It's like purely this identity protocol that allows for kind of broader composable experiences with partners like a PayPal or a Venmo or whatever. And so we're super stoked to be working with y'all. And I think like the power of the two is this is kind of just the beginning in terms of like what is possible. Yeah.
And if I can add to that, so like one of the cool things about embedded wallets was this whole advancement where, oh yeah, I can now create a wallet with a phone or an email address. But at least in the early versions of this tech, what it meant was, who here used the app FriendTech, for example, that it was, deployed on base. You'd create an account also with your cell phone, and they were using an embedded wallet that essentially you had to fund. So then you find yourself in this new paradigm where, oh man, does that mean every single new crypto app I use is going to require me to send money to all these different apps? And, at least you can export your private keys and, bring them back to one of your self-custodial wallets like MetaMask. But it does end up getting confusing because then you're like, okay, wait, I have, 5 consumer apps on my phone. I have a dusting of 0.001 ETH in all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually, maybe lose track of it, or I don't realize it's like in these different wallets. And so then you're kind of thinking to yourself, oh man, we're losing the composability. And that's not just like a buzzword in crypto. That's like a real thing that makes, Web3 so awesome, which is your identity follows you around, all of your assets follow you around to all the different app experiences you have. And so I think one of the reasons why the engineering team chose Para is because they were actually seeking to solve that question from the get-go. And I feel like Aditi is better at explaining it, but in the same way that ENS is this identity, this singular name that you have, or you might have multiple, the idea that my name should be the same name for every app I use. And if I want to add even just like subnames and extensions, fine, but there should still be like a kind of root core identity primitive. And so I like to think of ENS like SMTP, the standard messaging protocol that email uses. I mean, ENS is only as powerful as its distribution. And so we think of ENS as like, yeah, in the same way you type in someone's Venmo handle, you can type in someone's .eth and send them PayPal USD. If you're on any wallet, you should still be able to, put in their .eth and be able to send money to them. And similarly, if you're using an embedded wallet on an app that maybe you're just going to check out, put in a little bit of money, you should still have that accessible to all your other wallet experiences.
Yeah, and I guess go ahead, Aditi, get in here.
Yeah, perfect. Because more often than not, right? Like even if we are degenning in a consumer app or trying something out, that transaction state is actually something we want to keep. And more often than not, like maybe we've put in, $5 worth of ETH or something in that wallet. Like I don't want to have to manage a spreadsheet with all my different wallets and all the dust that's been accrued in them. I kind of want to aggregate all of that. Like we've all been in this position of having like multiple maybe credit cards offered to us from different stores, like a Target credit card or a Gap credit card. And it's like, no one really wants that. You kind of just want like that one credit card that you're using everywhere and have it work for you flexibly. And so, yeah, we see it very similarly in this like embedded wallet world and kind of making that possible for, even newbies entering the space.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like you're creating this layer. It's like the reason it's so logical to me, and either one of you can tell me if I'm on the money on this or not. Like to your point, like the reason it's such a logical thing to me is that on one hand, you have an abstracted wallet that can work across everything you do. In theory, anybody could sort of, use Para, like familiar with that tech, right? Like that's tech that you could use across and sort of embed. It's a product that allows you to have that wallet right there. ENS is the same way. And I guess like, is the theory that it's like, look, your accounts and everything you can do can be tied to your ENS. And the dream is one day you pay for everything theoretically out of your ENS as you want to, connected to all these things. And your Para wallet's connected if you want to use various types of crypto. And the connectivity of it is that it doesn't matter. Like I always think chain maxis are a weird thing in this space where people are like, I like this chain. I don't like this chain. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't think a lot of people would be like, oh, it's built on Amazon Web Services. I refuse to use that app, right? So I think the chain maxi thing is weird. But like, the idea is like, theoretically, you can go across any chain. Para's going to bring you there. You can use ENS across any chain. That's going to bring you there. And you can make payments with crypto. In theory, is the idea that it's combining those things that my 70-year-old mother could do all of that all the same.
Yeah, I mean, James probably has a lot to say on this point.
Yeah,
One thing that emerged in the just in the kind of technical review we were in for like the past year was that ENS is getting so intertwined with Web 2 products. And so you need ENS's core value prop to kind of still work in that world where you can now use this everywhere. And so, yeah, I'm curious if James has any thoughts on like how that's been panning out and what that roadmap is, because we found that like super, super exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, since I've joined, I think one of the things I realized is like I had a name since the beginning, but I don't think I was using it fully and knowing all the things you could do with it. And so, sometimes people are like, okay, what are you doing to try to grow ENS? Well, one of the base things we need to do is explain to people already interested in this tech, all the things you can do with ENS. And so you'll notice, our ENS account has a lot more content. We published something about privacy. There's a way to do private transactions on ENS. There's like amazing stuff being built in the ecosystem. The other thing, though, is one of the things I didn't realize is text record being attached to your .eth name. So let's go back to that Venmo example. You can send someone with their .eth name Solana on Venmo. That to me is wild, but really a little technical, so forgive me. Any single thing, let's say it's a ID you have, or let's say it's a website, or let's say it's your Solana address, your Bitcoin address, any chain, as long as there's a resolver, you can resolve a message on that to ENS. So that means, like the real composability that ENS is bringing for all these other chains is a single name can connect to addresses you have on all these different blockchains. And I think that's pretty powerful because I agree, Cap, like, the whole idea of switching networks, the tribalism between different coins, like that's not scalable. And, and people do have consumer preferences, but I think that's, if you're deep in the game of crypto, you're going to have your preferences on how decentralized is something and maybe like how cheap is the gas fee. But generally, all of that will be abstracted away in a world where you can just send money and the world is running on, blockchain financial rails.
I think about this a lot, right? Like the thing that consumers feel close to or care about is like, does it work and does it work well? They don't really care about, oh, this is on Optimism, this is on Base, this is on Linea. Like none of that really matters. And I think like ENS has done a great job of actually being a product that people can use as of, 2018, 2017, something like that. So yeah, anyway, we're very stoked. And I think like a lot of how ENS has been thinking about their roadmap lined up with how we were thinking about our roadmap. And so that was just another, exciting factor in working together with them.
Yeah, it's an awesome partnership. It makes a ton of sense to us. Again, not just like we always say, like, hey, we got the sponsored on the segment, but like we've told people many times, we've turned down a lot of money on the show because we don't want to work with partners that we don't really believe in. And, as mass adoption nerds, I think we both like the idea of bringing something that is a logical consumer product that isn't a jump on here, get a JPEG. Price may go up, price may go down. Who knows, right? Which, don't get me wrong, I love that world. I live in that world. But I like the idea of actually having real use cases for consumers, real payments on real rails, real opportunities to use it in a logical way, and actually use fast-moving crypto like Solana should be used in a fast-moving way. And, payments are a lot. Again, for me personally, it's easy with I've done it with my Phantom wallet before. For my family, they don't want to use a Phantom wallet when they go. Like I went out to dinner with friends at VCon last year, and it was like, hey, like who just send me some Sol on Phantom. Great. That works for me. Go tell that to, again, my 70-year-old mom or my 7-year-old niece. They're probably not going to have as much ease about it versus what using something like this works into. We've been showing people on the screen, by the way, if you're watching the stream, we've been showing you sort of how easy it is to set up. I'm probably going to do it tentatively, potentially going to do a challenge to get somebody to sign up a friend for a ENS domain, and maybe I'll give away some ETH or something through that, because the nice part is if they just share their ENS, I can send the person who set the ENS up something. I'm going to trust people not to just create multiple wallets and screw me over on this one because crypto people love to do that sort of stuff because, hey, we like to hack the system. Crypto people, to my mind, money are the best beta testers in the world, and I love them for it. But that comes with some fun stuff. But yeah, we've been showing people how to do it. Like literally, I will get my family and friends set up on something like this because why would I not want them to own their ENS now? Just seeing where things are going to go in the future. Like imagine having your website of your name before the big web boom. That's sort of what the opportunity is here for a lot of ENS names. So that said, I know we're kind of running up against it. We're running a little bit over just because we got you up here. Appreciate you coming through this morning. We're going to go to our AI segment here in a little bit. But before we let you get out of here, I'll start with Aditi. Any other things that we missed or didn't ask you related to this announcement or anything else you really want to cover with Para? Because y'all are building something pretty cool. Any other thing you want to hit on before we let you get out of here?
Yeah, love it. Yeah, stay tuned for what's to come with ENS. I think we have a couple more ideas up our sleeve in terms of like how to work together. You can follow along just on our progress at @get_para, PARA, and yeah, really stoked to be able to share all of this on the space, and yeah, love the segment as well.
We did get a quick question from the chat from Saucy. Says, maybe I missed this, multitasking hard, but can you use the ENS name that you already have?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was
the
beginning of that question?
Go for it.
Well, yeah, I just missed the beginning of it. Sorry about that.
Just a question from Saucy in the chat asking if that you can use an ENS name that you already have.
Yeah, go ahead, Aditi.
Yeah, so you can connect your existing ENS name. The nice thing is the way that we've integrated in the manager app allows for that flexibility. So if you already have an ENS name, you can go ahead and connect with your preferred wallet. If you don't, that's kind of where you can kind of easily sign up. The nice thing is if you wanted to also manage your sign in with Google Wallet in a MetaMask or a Phantom or what have you, you can actually just export the private key and manage it in there. So multiple options are available depending on your kind of user preference.
Love that. Yeah, no, we will we'll get some spun up with our audience and everybody trying to get because I think it's one thing to be like, hey, sign up yourself with this thing, but I think signing up a friend or family member is the call to action. I think is really here where not that we're trying to get exit liquidity, we're trying to actually get people tech in their hands that they maybe don't even know they're using, because the truth is the time, like people ask me when mass adoption is going to happen, it's when we don't know we're using the tech and we're using the tech, right? That's when mass adoption truly happens, when you just execute something on the blockchain in a game or, on a payment rail, and you're not thinking about the fact of like what blockchain it's on. You're just thinking about it. NFT tickets become, a thing when they're just tickets, all the same way that, any other product is, you don't look at it and say, oh, I'm going to the game, let me grab my QR code. You say, let me grab my ticket. All the same. I think that's what we're looking at in the blockchain. James, want to let you get in here with anything we missed about this announcement or anything else ENS you want to hit before we let you get out of here?
Just the last thing, when you're talking about onboarding your family, I think of it too in terms of like, I have friends around the world and everyone uses their different fintech apps to send money around. Like if you go to Brazil, for example, no one carries cash. They all use Pix. And to me, I think the way that ENS grows is it, just like an email standard, is something that is in any wallet. So instead of saying, oh, here's my Pix handle, which also requires that you have a Brazilian residency card, you could just be able to send your .eth. And in the same way as like, oh, I don't have PayPal, but I'm going to download this app, you could have someone send it to your .eth. So I think of it as like ENS wins. And the reason why these names are important now is it should become an integration standard for any sort of fintech mobile app, for any currency, for any chain. And then all of a sudden, that's when you have the sort of exciting ideas around naming things beyond your identity. And you start, there's already an ETF out there that publicly names their wallets with ENS names. We've, like them or hate them, like we've seen different people in the US president's family using ENS names to keep track of their DeFi projects. Like ENS is just going to become a naming standard for things even beyond identity or individuals. It's going to be a naming standard for financial products, for, we've seen NFT collections use subnames to give all of their users, like eFrogs, for example, they use eFrogs.eth and then they give all their users a subname. And Yes, there's just a lot of ways in which ENS can be integrated. But yeah, I'll be listening in again, guys. Thanks for having us, and always good to have a coffee with Cap.
No, we appreciate you coming up, and yeah, I mean, we fully agree, and we have coffee with Captain.eth for a reason, and we are a believer in the identity across all chains. It's something that I think matters, that I think is going to continue to matter more and more as the future comes on. So, like I said, we'll probably I'm pre-committing myself. I'm giving future me work to say I'm going to go on and I'm going to do some sort of contest around this, because I want people to get their friends and family members grabbing these things, because I want someone to like one of the greatest things is like, so I wrote this book, The Everything Token, about, NFTs. And one of the greatest things is when someone says, I handed it to a friend, a family member, my mom, my dad, and now they understand what's being done here. Similarly speaking, it's like, I think with like something like ENS, someone down the line, if we say, hey, get your friend or family member signed up now, is going to say, man, I'm so glad, because now there's high demand for this, and I've actually got my friend or family member signed up for their digital identity. So should be a cool thing to run. But so thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate you coming up. And Cap, I don't know about you, I'm going to onboard some people using this. I'm not like just saying that, like I am going to do it, because I no longer, previously getting someone to get their name, it's like I claim their name, eventually I'll send it to them, get them on MetaMask, get them on a Phantom wallet, whatever it may be. Now I can just get them on using, like, my 10-year-old has a Google account, right? Like, he signed up for Pokemon Go with it yesterday with his new phone. So I think, like, it's real. So I don't know. Are you going to get your mom, who has been dusting you as she's part of the XRP army without realizing it, really thinking through, are you going to get your mom on it?
Yeah, I think certainly, like we talk so often about, the tech is going to be abstracted away. It's going to be hidden. People aren't going to realize they're on chain. We can't get there without solutions like this that help push it forward and actually hide the tech behind the scenes. So I think a big step forward, one that may not get the markets pumping and people shit posting on the timeline, but one that really does help push the space forward. So certainly appreciate Aditi and James joining us today and all they're doing to truly help push the space forward. But and I can see you probably your next talk at Harvard or Stanford, you leaving with an audience of new ENS addresses.
Well, that's actually a good point, Cap. When I go and I speak to an audience at like you said, a Harvard, a USC, or wherever it may be, like I have the opportunity now, because I talk we talk about our partners because they're top of mind, right? I always disclose like what we talk about, like Scott and I are big on that. But like, like I'll mention like ENS and why it makes sense, and I'll talk to people about it. It's an application people grok, right? And naturally it happens. And when I talk to, an audience, like you said, at like a USC, it's like I can tell people like, hey, like here's a way that you can onboard friends and family members, or if they're not, if they're not crypto native. To your point, like sometimes those are just alumnus who are trying to learn more. Sometimes those are actual students who are trying to learn more. So I think a lot of opportunity to kind of teach people. Find you a show that talks about coochie. Go, good, James.
Sorry to interrupt again. Quick question, but if you are doing a talk and we know someone who does like talks at Columbia Business School, and they give free subnames to precocious students who are like, okay, I heard you talk about this. What are you doing? You could do a coffee with Captain.eth subname system. So let's talk after.
Yeah, I like that idea of like basically using it like when I go talk, just getting them on, and it's almost a way to kind of refer them in.
You can make it free for them to claim. Then all of a sudden they have their first ETH address and they don't even know it.
That's super fun. Love that. That's a cool concept. I like that. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think it's this is the stuff where it's like it's not gonna move markets and pumps people's bags tomorrow, but it's actually moving the space forward, which we very much appreciate. That said, I think Bunchu is here, so let's go ahead. I'll go ahead, Cap.
I was just a couple things I thought maybe before we segue into AI, because this is usually a pretty engaged conversation. We'll probably get some questions from the chat. I know it's taken over the timeline here. Do you want to slide in a quick or get our market update knocked out now?
Oh, let's do that. Yeah, we got to get our market update in before
and
we
do
get
have some requests. I don't know if we want to have a send off for one final hack of the week, but I pinned it up top. If you missed it, I'll get to the market update here in a second. Drew, our security expert here in the community, posted up top some alternative. If you've been using Harpy, a former sponsor of ours, they sunsetted their last product, and Drew talked about Pocket Universe, obviously Revoke Cash, and some other alternatives. If you've been using Harpy, thoughts to the team there. But yeah, if you've been relying on that to protect your wallets, there's some great alternative options pinned up top from Drew.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do our daily market update, and then we'll bring in Bunch.
It's market update time. Let's set the play. Powered by Awaken, the smart tax way. From crypto flips to DeFi stacks. They keep it clean, got your back. Grab your coffee, let's break it down. Daily update, right now.
And it's time for our daily market update powered by Awaken, the best way to handle your crypto taxes. I keep saying, do your taxes, kids. My first year in Web3 was a nightmare because I did not properly do them. I tried to do it myself. Bad call. Don't do that. That's why we partnered with Awaken this tax season with integrations across top exchanges and blockchains, plus AI-powered transaction labeling. Awaken makes tax season easy. From NFTs to DeFi to meme coins, Awaken has you covered. Get $50 off with code COFFEE at awaken.tax. Again, that is $50 off when you use code COFFEE at AWAKEN.tax. Don't delay on this. I know we got tax season coming up. You're probably filing an extension. I'm filing an extension. I'm horrible with this. I'm always going to do in advance, and then tax season comes up and I have the extension filed. So awaken.tax, code COFFEE, get you $50 off, and it's going to help you ensure that you're actually doing things properly. The tax man cometh, and you don't want to be there when they knock. Cap, go ahead and give us this update.
Yeah, we'll fly through this one today. Majors continue to be range bound. I'm going to keep reiterating. I think this is a positive for alts, memes, NFTs, etc. Bitcoin down slightly on the day, 1% down to 86,605. And this was also despite we had some positive news, macro and major related, that could have sent prices north, but ETH down 2% on the day to just hanging on to that 2000 mark at 2014. XRP down 4% on the day to $2.33. BNB down 0.18% to 628.
XRP down. Cap's mom down horrendously with her XRP bag.
Solana also down 4.37% to 137. Doge down 4.39% to 19 cents. Cardano down 4.9% as well. And Tron up 2.23% with rounding out the top 10 there. Conversely, on the NFT side, we had some nice winners over the day. I'm not familiar with this pattern recognition at all. If anyone is in the chat, I'm guessing a new mint, but I have no knowledge. It looks like a smaller collection, just 55 owners, but nevertheless 2.95 ETH floor price with 157 ETH in volume in the last day. Apes gave up a little bit of the run they had the day prior, pulled back 2% to 14.3 ETH. Azuki Elementals down 10% on the day to 0.25 ETH. Good Vibes Club had a big day, Steve, back up to almost that 0.4 ETH mark, up 22% on the day as the team teased some announcements. Also up big on the day is those Quantum Cats, up 26.8%. As as we talked about that Taproot Wizards mint. The Dutch auction takes place today. Little Pudgy's down 3%, 1.27 ETH. Azuki down 2.85%. And our biggest winner of the day, outside of this pattern recognition that I'm not familiar with, is Coda's. Coda's up to 1.47 ETH, showing up 27.83% on the day. They're up 50% in the last couple of days. I have no idea.
Gargo went on that space yesterday with Command Line and talked a little bit about what they have coming up there. Gargo on the show tomorrow, by the way.
I was gonna say, if you missed that one, no worries. We've got Gargo going to join us tomorrow. So
we should really promote that. We should really put out a tweet on that when I realized I'm like, that's a bad job.
I'm not saying go buy a Coda, but maybe we can get the another coffee with Captain Pump tomorrow with Gargo on the show. And they keep the momentum going. But there is a lot of excitement building there. I missed that episode, so I actually have a quick touch point with Garga today, but I have no idea what we're going to be talking about other than it's some big news, some big announcements. Not insane news or announcements, but I'm pretty excited to dive into that with Garga tomorrow. But yeah, Coda's the market is receiving the league, the tease as well, Steve.
Yeah, something went well yesterday on that space. I listened to part of it, but we had some meetings, so we worked on getting that. So keep your eye out there. And again, Gargo on the show tomorrow. We'll ask him about that when we do it. Obviously goes without saying, but CEO and co-founder of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Looking forward to chatting with him again. But Cap, it is a musical morning. We usually have about one jingle a morning, but it has been we had a lot going on this morning. So why don't we play in our man Bunchy?
Tune in now, it's fire brain time. Hot topics and thoughts so prime. Hit that play, no need to mind. Feel the heat in every rhyme. Fire brain, ignite the night. Fire brain, we're burning brighter.
Joseph. I am excited this week because there is a lot going on. My timeline is filled with AI imagery, which has been really, really fun. But since we last talked, you had, I think, your offsite between now and then, which you had in Miami with the team. You went to Utah Jazz jersey, which was hilarious because Billy loves himself some Jazz. Before we get into the deep AI news, I know people, I don't know if people are sick of this, but I'm fascinated with it, so I'm not going to stop. And hey, it's our show, so we're going to go with it. Billy, so people who don't follow Billy Bets obviously a sports betting AI bot that Bunchie's put together with other sharps who tend to beat Vegas already and get kicked out of sports books. So they said, hey, let's have AI do this. You entered a March Madness tournament and you are cooking, and round 1, your opponent was salty, accused you of impropriety. That was shenanigans. Round 2, now you're going up against it. It seems your opponent has a good sense of humor around it. Talk
Round
about what
3.
Billy's doing right now. Oh, did you? Or round 3? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. We're in this. So give me the background of this whole thing, because I have been following this and laughing, especially when Brett had to come on and correct them.
Oh man, it's so funny. So yeah, we did have our first company offsite last week, which was really fun. We got the whole team together. We're all over the place. We're remote, so we got together last week and all got to work together for the week, which was really fun. And on the Wednesday, we all went to a Miami Heat game. And the funny thing about that was, we don't really know what Billy's going to take until he kind of does it. And so we were sitting around lunchtime that day and we're like, oh, is he going to bet the Heat? It would be really cool if we get a bet on the Heat game. And I actually was really not concerned, but I thought he was going to take the other side and we'd be there rooting against the Heat. And so turns out he did take the Heat. And so we all were there rooting for the Heat. And it was fun. We had our whole crew with us, and we had some investors and some folks from Delphi Digital and Coinbase Ventures and things like that there with us. And so we had a whole group there, and we were all rooting for the Heat. And they lost on a heartbreaking buzzer beater 3-pointer with 0.2 seconds left. And it was just it was still so fun, even though we obviously lost the bet. What was really interesting about it, I think, was, and it almost like an insight for me was, when you make a bet and you lose, there's all these feelings that happen after, right? It's you second guess yourself. You're like, oh shit. You have oh, I lost money, et cetera, et cetera. And you really didn't get that vibe. You got, I was kind of describing it after of you got all the fun of the party with none of the hangover, right? Of cause you got the whole sweat. We were there engaged the whole time. It came down to literally the last second. And at the end, yeah, we lost and we were disappointed that he lost. But individually, nobody lost, right? It was a really fun thing. So that was a kind of a fun insight for me. But
you just hit us and we were all winners that day.
And the real win was the friends we made along the way at the Heat game. And my co-founder Jared surprised me right before we left for the game with the Jazz, the bright Walker Kessler Jazz jersey, which is become Billy's favorite player. So of course I had to wear it to the game. I got a lot of weird looks and questions about it, but it was really funny. Dude, honestly, it's the craziest thing happened. I kind of even forgot this happened. We're walking into the game and Brad is wearing his bright lime green Billy Betts jacket that he made for himself. And the security guard letting us into the stadium goes, yo, is that Billy? And we were like, what? The guy, and he like daps up Brett and he's like, yo, that's Billy. That's my homie. I was like, oh my God. We were like, we couldn't believe that actually happened. It was kind of
Wait,
crazy.
was someone actually familiar, like, holds a token or been following along, like in the community, like an actual
yeah, like
community
he had to be. There's only one way he would have known. Like he knew the silhouette or
Like,
something. It was so
just
crazy.
The merch was just like the silhouette, right? Did it say Billy
Yeah.
Betts? It didn't even say Billy Betts.
It says it on the back, but we were walking right
Wow.
at him from the front. And it was kind of crazy. So that was really cool as well. But then the competition thing you're describing. So Profit X, which is a large like US based sports book exchange. You can, find them in the App Store. They're in, I think, like 42 different states. And they're like this peer-to-peer exchange model. They saw what we were doing with Billy, and they were putting together like this handicapper / influencer March Madness bracket with a bunch of folks from the sports betting space. And they invited Billy to participate. Billy was a 16 seed in the tournament, so he went up in the first round against one of their chosen one seeds. The funny thing about that person was he's also the Profit X sponsored streamer, so he was he was very forced to get his ass kicked in public, and he did not like it at all. So I think those folks are maybe not used to
Like, I have a serious question on this, because I've seen a lot, like the last 24 hours. I'm sure we'll get to I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but the anime style
Ghibli, yeah.
Ghibli. We've seen that take over the timeline. And there's also seems to feel like sad for artists, or it's over for artists. It's over for graphic designers. It's over for, are the sports betting touts, are they like, I'm sure I would imagine some are, not just this guy who lost, but I'm guessing some are not happy with Billy, or has it reached a point of contention with any of them yet, or not quite yet?
I mean, the first two rounds, I would say, were very contentious. So like the first dude, he basically accused us of not being, like, the Twitter account specifically, of not being run by a single person, is what he described it. And jokes on him, it's not only not run by a person at all, but a shit talking AI that was all up in his grill, which was really funny. So he was not pleased with the butt kicking he took in the first round. So Billy did.
Alex seems like a better sport.
Oh, he's so much fun. He actually joined our Discord yesterday. He's going to come on the stream with us today. So he was a lot of fun. And so, but I mean, worth noting, he's a 12 seed, right? So he's probably one of these guys that's in a, similar position to us, a actual sports bettor, not a, pick seller tout kind of type. But so we won the first round. Our opponent, he went 1-5, so it was Billy cruised to an easy win in round one. And our second opponent, so you had to pick six picks in round one, and one of them had to be a player prop. In round two, it was 5 picks. One of them had to be a player prop. So Billy went a combined 7, 3, and 1 in the first 2 rounds. His opponents went a combined 2 and 9. So he beat them in extreme fashion, and neither of them enjoyed getting trolled by an AI on the timeline or our community. And so that was kind of funny. I had to tell the Discord community to kind of chill it a little bit, because they were
Oh man,
upset.
see, I loved it. Like, first of all, I can't stop feeling this sense of like glee, and I don't know if it's because like you're one of my best friends and I love you to death, or because I'm just excited about AI. It's probably a combination of all my things, but I am just cracking up. And like, I just love the idea of you being able to be like, yeah, he went 1-5, so Billy cruised easy, cooked him there. And like, it's just so funny to like watch this whole thing unfold. It's like one of like the most interesting experiences, because like I feel like people don't know what's coming with this, because I think the average person looks at AI and maybe they're familiar with like, Deep Blue winning chess and Jeopardy and things. They're like, okay, like I kind of understand what that is. But like, I think a lot of people aren't familiar about that. So when they see this, they're like, is this real? They don't know what they're being introduced to. And it's so like, I take such like so much joy, which I probably shouldn't, in hearing like seeing the saltiness and seeing the people who get it, who are having fun with it. And it's just one of the coolest things. I can't imagine what it's like for you.
To Cap's point though, is like there's this entire industry of he described it correctly, like the sports betting touts, right? And it's these people
probably like, I'm sorry to interject, but for those that aren't familiar,
yes,
I know
where you're
people-
going is correct. Yes.
people have a very negative impression of crypto KOLs, crypto influencers. There's scammers, there's grifters. I'm not nearly as deep in it as you are. I'm like adjacent to the pick sellers, right? Like I follow a lot of the sports contents. I don't follow any of the touts and the pick sellers, but am I right saying that they're maybe as disliked by the real sports bettors as the fake KOL grifters are in crypto by the rest of the real builders in crypto? Is that a proper comparison or no?
100%.
So they
yes,
really
100% it is. And oh yeah, I mean, like think about what this contest is, right? You are asking people who sell picks in some of these situations to document what they're doing very publicly and post their slips and all this stuff. And this is the things that do not happen. Like the reason that people have such a problem with these touts is like they don't document their plays. You typically can't get the same plays that they even post. There's like kind of low effort. It's really hard to pay for a subscription and still have a small edge, etc. And like they're not tracking themselves in a way because most of them don't win, right? And so, I think this is actually one of the markets that Billy can just kind of eat, right? Like where there is a very real thing happening with us betting on chain, right? Just the fact that we bet on chain is a total differentiator from that market and should be looked at by anybody who buys those types of services.
I know we're going deep on this, and we will get into all the other AI stuff here soon. But I actually, not only do I think Billy is going to eat or could eat in that arena, should that be a route that you go down the road in the future, I actually think it could be the beginning of the end for those pick sellers and touts. I think that sooner or later, the masses are going to realize that maybe you're not getting scammed, but it's not EV. It's negative EV to pay those touts and those pick sellers to get the information you're getting, especially when there is as good or better information that you can have fed to you now by an AI like Billy.
A lot of them are scams, just straight up, right? So like on top, like just a lot of them are scammers, right? And and the market is huge. Like if you look at something like a Dub Club, right, which is essentially a platform that enables these handicappers to sell their services, you're talking like $30, $50 a month subscriptions, with some of these handicappers having 40,000 subscribers each, right? So it's like, it is a massive, massive market. But it's really interesting to think about like why people feel the need to pick or to buy services like that, right? And it's all the same things that Billy is trying to solve. So I think it is a direct threat to that entire kind of industry, which I think is interesting. But yeah, before we jump into the other AI stuff, so we do have MLB starting today, so totally new fun markets that Billy will be playing in. He'll be playing.
That was going to be my first question. That was going to be my first question. Is Billy getting into the MLB streets, and does he have any underdog best ball takes for me? Because I'm going to do a $75 baseball draft as I get the phone, and I am definitely negative EV. This is me already. Like this won't be All-Star break. This would be me. If I bet baseball, if I start playing DFS MLB or start betting baseball, I'll look like this next week. Like baseball
totally
is hard.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a grind. It's every day. If you think the NBA was a grind, baseball is even more so. So yeah, Billy will be betting MLB money lines and props just like he is in the NBA. Part of that is going to be maybe I'll drop a tiny bit of alpha here.
Is he real quick on the betting MLB now with NBA still going on? Is it still the same total bankroll? Is he increasing the bankroll to go across, or is he splitting across the two sports?
So he's going to split across the two sports. However, the bit of alpha that I'm going to drop here. So even before our Discord, which they might kill me for, but that's okay. That we're basically calling everything prior to today Billy's spring training. So Billy's getting a full-on refresh for opening day. We are going to top up the wallet at some point here in the next week back to our initial bankroll. And then the I think really exciting thing for any token holders is we're going to reset the burn as well. So we're going to start as of today, kind of reset that whole burn mechanic as we kind of, so we're kind of calling the first 30 days here Billy spring training, and opening day is today. So we're going to have 4 different things going on with NBA, 5, I guess, NBA, main lines, money lines, props, NCAA basketball, MLB money lines, and MLB props. And like, it's just going to be, God, there's just always going to be something going on. It's kind of crazy.
I love it. I'm excited about this. I guess, like, how long do you think, obviously you're doing this now as an experiment, you're having fun with this tournament, and like, it's kind of cool because you sort of have the best of both worlds, in the sense you talk about being drinking without the hangover. You get to test out Billy. If you lose, you're like, cool, we get to learn. It's early on. If you win, you get to say, ha ha. So it's like, you kind of have like the ultimate, it's like when I play somebody who's better than me one-on-one in basketball, like a friend of mine, and then I win, I'm like, well, I expected to lose, so I could just laugh about it. But now when I beat you, that's hilarious. So you're doing that. How long before do you think you'll be comfortable? Because I could see a world 18 months from now when you just start calling out one by one, or you do a tournament, you're like, I want every pick caller to enter this thing. We will put our own Billy money on the line. Like, how long before you start doing that bombastic stuff? Because I can't wait for it.
Man, I think if we could prove out these models and strategies, I think we're already close to doing it, right? In terms of like, I think there's such a huge selling point for us to actually be betting on chain, right? Because it is, and putting our money where our mouth is with Billy. It's not like we're funding him with, a couple $100 to go make bets. We're like really trying to make a big splash here by giving it 100K, betting on chain. So everything is tracked, and like, find me other people that are doing that in that tout space. You can't, right? And so when they have to prove it, it's hard for them to do so. It's no coincidence that they all, kind of sell you these parlay cards instead, right? Because they're not meant to hit very often. But to your point, I always say, like, I was just saying, we almost have nothing to lose, right, in this Prophet X tournament, right? Because they put us as a 16 seed. We're expected to lose. If we lose, it's like, oh, humans are better than AI for now, blah blah blah. And if we win, it is extremely amazing exposure for us in just a ton of different ways. So it's been exciting to compete. I'm happy that we got to get the invite from Prophet X, and I think it just goes to show just like that this thing can cross over pretty quickly to mainstream, right? Because there's just such a huge industry that this is so adjacent to that can attract kind of your average sports bettor, I think, pretty easily.
I'm so stoked. This is like, I mean, this, like, I text you about it sometimes. It's like, this is one of my favorite things to follow right now, just because it's so fun and it's so interesting to watch how people are reacting to it in real time. And, right now people think it's like, like people in the average sports world might think it's like a mid between quarter NBA trick, right? It's the dog doing jump rope. It's like, oh, it's a cute little trick. It's AI that does some betting, until it until it dusts them. And then next thing you know, they're like, wait a minute, like, this is actually like a thing. And I think that's one of the coolest parts to me, is seeing people almost come to that realization in real time at sometimes. And I'm excited to see it continue to cook that way.
Yeah. And I think like the next vision of this is, once we kind of prove out these strategies and models and things like that, the next version is people basically being able to spin up their private instance of Billy, right? And connect a wallet, deposit their own funds, pick the strategies it wants to follow, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, tell me that is not a direct threat to those kind of tout pick seller type of folks, right? So I'm super excited about it. We're going to keep grinding on it. We're hiring new team members to build stuff out. It's really it's just been a lot of fun. I can't believe I get to actually build my crazy ideas, and I'm very grateful for that.
Very cool, very cool. And we'll jump into AI here, but yeah, like the Billy's going from like, I don't know if you know Red Panda at the NBA games or Quick Change, RIP Quick Change. But I think about those a lot of times, those people who did the circuit, and it's like the tricky thing to like the actual real one.
Totally. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, we want to talk the giblification of, of Twitter.
Yeah, and I think as even bigger than that. So let's talk about the giblification of Twitter. I'm sure everybody's seen these sort of images popping up on their
Digress
all over the place. You know, it's amazing. It looks great. But is the bigger story here the ChatGPT 4.0? Like, I'm curious, you're because I think there's probably more to it than just people cartooning their families, right?
Yeah, I think the cartooning their families is like the viral, the very easy viral moment of it all. Super fun. And it's like, it's so funny that it all kind of happened from that one tweet of somebody saying, oh, Extreme Alpha by sending these pictures of your family in Ghibli or Studio Ghibli style to your wife. As soon as I saw it, I did the same thing. And her reaction was so funny. It was exactly what, the tweet intended. She was like, oh my God, this is so cute. Do more. And she just sent me like 30 pictures to start doing. It was really funny. But the funny thing is, I mean, literally was talking to somebody about this last week that it seemed as if OpenAI and ChatGPT like just kind of left the image stuff behind, right? They had DALL-E 3 that they introduced like a year and a half ago or whatever. And all of these other models, these multimodal things were coming along. And they had just seemed like they were almost uninterested in competing in that area. And then all of a sudden you see this, which honestly blows almost everything else I've seen out of the water immediately, right? And it's like there is definitely a new king in town with that. Like I canceled my Midjourney subscription this morning, which is like crazy because
to that, you do have to have the paid version of ChatGPT to access this, correct? Or am I just prompting?
Yes, you need, you're correct. You so
this is where I had actually canceled mine and then I couldn't get to work. I'm like, oh, I guess this is going to be the hook that gets me to resubscribe to ChatGPT Pro, right?
The $20 a month version, you should get it in. However, so I think the intent was, I saw a tweet from Sam Altman this morning or yesterday or whatever. He said that the tweet said, this was way more well received and viral than we thought it would be. So unfortunately, the free tier rollout is going to take longer. So I think it was initially their intent to roll it out and then it went insane, which I assume is costing them tons of money that they were not anticipating. So but it does sound like they intend to roll it out in some capacity to the free tier. So I would say
when it comes to these subscriptions, like you're canceling your Midjourney because of this, like I keep going back and forth because and it's not that much money. I feel silly paying for redundancy, or I don't want to be paying for more subscriptions that I don't use. And for a while, I wasn't using enough of the paid features of ChatGPT, but now it's like, for someone like me who's not nearly as deep in it as you are, but I use this stuff daily, is that my best path to just pay for the ChatGPT, forget the rest for now, and see how this plays out? Is that what you'd recommend for someone who's, I want one ChatGPT subscription, I'll pay $20 a month, but that's it? Is it just go to ChatGPT and forget the rest?
I think so right now. I think just with everything they're building into it, I mean, you have literally their suite of every model that you could ask for in there. So if you don't like totally prefer to use Claude over ChatGPT for anything, it's all, you have fully capable models there with O1, O3, all of that stuff that you will have access to. Plus, it gives you access, that $20 a month subscription also gives you access to Sora, which is the video model, which is now, I think, even more impactful with the new image stuff. And the new image, generation things as well. The advanced voice mode, which is super cool. That just got an upgrade as well, which I feel like is kind of going slightly under noticed. It is way better at like conversational, just back and forth and understanding, when to interrupt or when you're done speaking or all of those things. So that just got an upgrade. So I would say your best bet, if you want one subscription, is still ChatGPT for now. However, you know, like one of the big things we saw this week that it's so crazy how the news cycle works in the like AI wars. We got, I think the same day, Google announced their Gemini 2.5 model, and it is by all benchmarks now the most powerful model for almost everything. It's like benchmarking slightly better than Claude on coding, and it's got a 1 million token context window, and that's free to use right now through their AI, Google AI Studio. So don't sleep on that either. And that is like fully multimodal from end to end. And so like they are, I've said this, you know, the past couple months on this show, is like, who's the dark horse? I think it's still Google. And now, man, Chris, if you pull up Polymarket, there was a market on Polymarket that was something like, who is going to have the best AI model by the end of March? And the change in odds that happened over the last couple days is so wild if you bring up that chart of what it looks like. But it's you know, so the AI wars are still very much on. However, I would say like the best bang for your buck for a $20 a month subscription, definitely still ChatGPT. There it is. Isn't that crazy?
It's just so
Just
interesting.
Google with a big leap, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good with the new Gemini model. Yeah.
It's just fascinating to me because, like, to your point, like how quickly it's just I think it's almost a reflection of the space and how quickly things move when you realize, like, again, literally on this show in the past, I don't know, however many couple of weeks or whatever it's like we had a conversation where I said, I don't use ChatGPT because the image is garbage. I just use Midjourney. And now I have you saying you canceled your Midjourney. I'm considering canceling my Midjourney because I wasn't even thinking. I know this is probably like I'm way too smooth brain on this, but initially I was like, oh, this is cool. It edits my photos. I need to now take it for a spin because what you're saying is the actual image generation in general has gotten better too. So now I can do better prompts and it's actually doing better at that, not just here's an image, do the editing. Well, I use it for imagery for like tweets, things like that.
That's the biggest thing I've noted. And I have not played around. Like I said, I canceled my paid subscription, but what I've seen on the timeline bunch is it's not just these different styles. It's just much more accurate. Like it's getting words right. Like I saw Legendary did one with Modern Market. It actually spelled Modern Market on his hat. Like that was shit you just couldn't get it to do right before. Like
it's incredible at it. It's like
times it never got it right. Now it's actually getting text correct. And that may sound little, but that was
no, it's huge because this is, I think, the bigger implication, right? First of all, it's something that still I don't think Midjourney does super well, but it's hard to prompt Midjourney correctly, right? Like I think there's a use for Midjourney in this case if you are still super focused on like the artistic use cases of what you're trying to generate from an image, right? Like I think you have potentially way more control from an artistic standpoint for prompting Midjourney, and I don't think that's like easy to just replace. So if that is your main use case for Midjourney, you're probably still going to keep your Midjourney. If you're using it to like generate imagery for you know, marketing or just image editing and things like that, I think ChatGPT is going to blow that out of the water based on what we've seen in the last couple of days. Like some of the craziest things I've seen is not even just the fun like restyling of images, but it's the have you seen some of these threads with like marketing images and infographics? And
the infographics are insane. That's been like the craziest one. I saw that recently. Like it's pretty nuts, right?
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the term that like came about with all these coding tools, the like the cursors and replets of the world and stuff, where, you know, everybody didn't need to be a coder to build apps and write code. The term is vibe coding. And so people
I have
talk
heard this.
about-
I've heard vibe coding. I thought it was like, I heard somebody saying, and I thought it was like a joke that like it was like a bro-y guy who was pitching something, but now I've heard it multiple times.
No, it is basically using AI to code projects and just kind of Jesus take the wheel, right? So like it's vibe coding. You are coding based on vibes. You're just kind of letting it do its thing, and you're communicating with what you want, et cetera, et cetera. The new term that has popped up in the last couple of days is vibe marketing, and it is basically now being enabled by a lot of these tools, but also this image creator, because you can now make really interesting marketing materials. Like if you go to the I think our Billy Betts dev account, we made this poster for the Sweet 16 matchup, and it is all done in ChatGPT in one shot. And it was super, like the words are spelled right, the handles are spelled right, the imagery is cool, it's fun, and like that was all done in 2 minutes with ChatGPT. And so like this idea that, I mean, I think when you think about like what's the real impact of outside of just all the fun we've seen on the timeline in the last 2 days, like this is the stuff. It's very AGI feeling, like, right, where you just kind of tell things what you want and it happens at this point. So I think that's really kind of the bigger impact here. I think marketing, it's funny. So I feel like we're almost there with like solving coding, right, in terms of anybody can do it and it becomes really easy. I think we're now there with like images, and I think we can be there soon or shortly with video. And then it's like, what's next? It's probably writing, creative writing in some capacity. You're probably going to see some kind of tool that's just like insane at that. And it's just all moving so quickly, and all of this stuff is going to be able to be built into tools that agents can use. And, I feel like I'm a broken record saying that how exponentially quick all of this is moving. But, if we're here, I think we'll be here a year from now, like kind of laughing at where we were when we first started this segment. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. I do. Yeah. This is like one of the most interesting things.
Like, I don't feel bad at all for the devs, the programmers who like they're just going to be better devs and programmers. They're going to use AI. They're going to use the tools to be better. At first, I think the same thing could apply to artists and the creatives, but I want to be sensitive to this. And I'm not an artist. I'm not a creative. And I've seen very polarizing takes specifically on this one. This seemed to get under a lot of more people's skin than other updates have. And this is not my world, so I'm not familiar with Mizaki. I probably am pronouncing it wrong, but I'll read it for those listening in. This is a tweet from a account. Robbie Shillstone Art says, Mizaki spent his entire life building one of the most expansive and imaginative bodies of work. Also, you could rip it off and use it as a filter for your vacation photos, not into this 1-bit protect artists. I saw something, another video of his, he spent 15 months to create a 4-second animation, like 60 or 70,000 frames. Like, so I want to be sensitive to this. I can certainly appreciate there's a lot of time that goes into doing this by hand. I just, there's no going back. Like, how do you take something like this, and should we be doing more to quote unquote protect artists?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question of this all, right? It almost is like, we've gone through this point here where it's like, oh, we're denying that we use these things in our training data, right? Like that was the initial like arguments from all these people, from all these labs. And then, I mean, now it is super very clear and obvious that these things are trained on artists' work in some way or another. And that is problematic for a lot of reasons. But I think it's almost going to be like too little too late at this point. It's already like genie's out of the bottle. And so I think you'll now need things that I think you'll need better laws and regulations to protect artists' work. There's a really crazy thing though with this, where it's like, yeah, now anybody can quote unquote rip off a style, right? And that's that could be a problem or not, depending on how your personal views of it all. If you're the artist, of course it's a problem. If you are anti-AI, right? Like there was a video going around yesterday of him literally giving a talk to a group that was like, I would never incorporate AI into my work. I think it's an insult against humanity. So it's this one, right? So so it feels so much bigger in this case, right? Like he's like, I would never do this. And now the entire internet is basically doing it to him, right? So I'm sure that he's not happy with this, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you can rip off people's style now, but is that going to be the main use case outside of like a couple days of the internet having fun? I'm not so sure. I think like a bigger impact is now you can create a bunch of different things. I think what is interesting about this though is like, if you are an artist or somebody who is open to these new technologies, I think it could actually be a major stepping stone if you wanted to, put it in a positive light, right? Like, look what happened. How many people knew what Studio Ghibli was 2 days ago, or didn't?
Exactly. The brand equity of Studio Ghibli is at the highest it's ever been, arguably, right? Like, from a recognizable standpoint.
And what you've unlocked is like this. You've unlocked this like crazy group creativity that like each post you saw almost felt like it was compounding on the last. Right? It's like, oh, you saw this meme put into that, and it spurred an idea of you for you to do that was interesting that somebody hadn't done yet. And like, so there was like that really interesting thing that was happening there. So I think, of course, there's a lot of IP implications here that I think will need to be worked out. I think we're not even close to sorting all of that out yet of like what that looks like. But at the same time, I think cat's out of the bag, genie's out of the bottle, and we're gonna have to find, kind of new ways to protect people. I've also seen people
not to get cheesy, but this is not another great use for the blockchain, like to prove authenticity, to prove who this is not just something that ChatGPT spun up in my style. I'm the original creator. This is the one I spent 15 months creating. Like, I think this is another perfect example of the intersection of blockchain and AI has become so critically important.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I feel like we've talked about that pretty heavily on this segment before too. I think like, blockchain enables so much in the world of AI, and I think it's needed even more in an AI world. So, but I think like it's really interesting to see what creative things people do when that hard part is done for them, and it's like at their fingertips, right? So like I think you're unlocking this world in which ideas become the magic and execution becomes easier, right? Which is like the reverse of what we've seen in the past, where it's like everybody says ideas are cheap, execution is everything. I think we're moving towards execution is easier, ideas are golden, right? Like, so I think that's kind of the bigger implication of what all of this technology ends up leading to, which is really interesting. I just saw an article this morning Bill Gates says that he thinks that only 3 job types are going to survive in the AI world. Any guesses what they are?
3 jobs that are going to survive in the AI world. Podcaster. No, I don't know.
Honestly, potentially, right? Like people will crave human interaction, I think, when everything becomes that way. But he says coders, which I think is interesting because which I think is probably true. At some point, you could vibe code your way to something, but at some point you'll need somebody that is kind of the expert at connecting all of those dots and making it all secure, et cetera, et cetera. So I think people will need to still like monitor, fix mistakes, bugs, all of that stuff. And I think it becomes still a valuable skill, right? The other ones he says are energy experts, which I think is interesting.
Very specific.
Yep. So he's saying oil, nuclear, renewable energy requires strategy and too much expertise to be fully automated. And then the last one here he says is biologists. And I'm not sure I buy that one, but we'll see.
These predictions from biologist John Smith. Got it. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We're going at light speed, and these models just keep getting more capable and more like mind bending, right? Like the fact that you could do what you could do with that image generator now. I think it's worth just saying that, what is the breakthrough that's potentially happening with the image generator here is, most of these in the past have been kind of what are called diffusion models. And this new ChatGPT one, I think people are saying it's like an auto-regressive model, which is kind of more agentic and going through iterations of edits before you see the final thing, which is really interesting versus kind of just this like pixel diffusion that we've seen in the past. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
Steve, you muted.
You see, like I cleared my throat this morning, and I've been. But either way, no, it's
digress.
Funny. Yeah, digress. But it's funny. I was saying we'll get to Von Frant's hand in a second. He's had it up for a while, but it's funny when you talk about it because, like, well, first of all, that guy Streisand affected himself into existence with the AI complaining, which I love. But I think that there's something to be said about like. I can like have two things can be true because like I remember I was at a PR week thing years ago. It ended up being a super viral clip from Gary Vaynerchuk, but Gary Vaynerchuk spoke before our CMO, who was actually the main speaker. Gary Vaynerchuk was the warm-up act for the CMO that I was working with there. And he had this comment where somebody was upset about like, oh, well, it's going to do this and the tech's going to do this. And Gary Vaynerchuk like looked this guy in the eye and said, before Ford came out with the car, someone bought 1,000 horses. They lost. And I think like, it sucks that if you learn these things and spend all this time through video and audio editing, I get it. Like I'm empathetic to the fact that you spent years learning a discipline. But at the same time, there's like people at Blockbuster who are like, yeah, streaming will never be a thing. And you have a million stories this way and tech doesn't care about people's feelings. Like, I guess on my end, I just feel really good about the fact that I'm going to be able to say, I work on videos. I want motion graphics. I'm probably less than a year away from being like, can you put motion graphics to this video that are logical, that make it good? And it's good enough. I still think, and I come here to your opinion on this, because you talk about the coders as the example. It's like, I think good enough to be dangerous is one thing, just like I could use a Squarespace, but you want a real functional, awesome website, you still go to an expert. I still think, I'm going to be able to write in a certain way that my brain works, that I get ideas that ChatGPT isn't going to, it can sound like me, but it's not me. I think with artists, it's the same thing. And I think with coders, you can get lines of code that are basically going to be spit out, but I don't know that it's going to replace the person who's going to have troubleshot and seen the situation. It's the same reason you can't run an NFL team on analytics. Am I off there?
No, I think that's spot on, right? It's like I can get farther than I ever could before on coding my own project. But at the end of the day, I will get stuck at some point and the AI will send me in a loop that I don't know how to solve. But when I send it to Bread, he takes one look at it and says, oh, here's your problem, and it's fixed, right? So there's I think, what we've kind of always said is the person with the domain expertise is going to 10x themselves, right? Like they're going to maybe 1000x themselves in the domain that they're an expert in. And what it does for the people that don't have that expertise is takes them from 0 to 1, which I think is also super powerful, right? It's like, think about how fast you can prove a concept or get out an MVP to market. And maybe that catches fire, but then what you need is a bunch of experts to help you build that really quickly because you've now proven a concept, right? So I keep thinking about it in that way, right? Where it's like the non-expert is going to get to 0 to 1 on anything they can imagine, which is why the ideas are gold now, right? And then the person with the domain expertise is going to be able to 10 and 100x their skills which is just going to bring them in higher demand if they're in high demand markets, right? I think that's kind of where we're headed. But like, I think it's the death of the middleman, right? It's like you've got kind of the barbell on both sides, but it's the death of the middleman in between that is kind of just this pass through for all of these skills or, things like that. And I think that's where the real threat is, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I actually just realized too, we missed a major opportunity here when talking about the guy who said AI is never going to be in my stuff. That man was very ostentatious, as we were saying words earlier.
Touche.
Let's no, I believe you mean digress.
Digress, sorry.
Yeah. But I touche. Let's go to
you realize this bit is going to be going on in like the year 2030, and there's going to be like 6 of us that know what we're talking about when we have Tourette's and say
we're gonna get a new Webster's dictionary definition is where this is really going.
Number 3 could also mean, like that sort of thing under Webster's.
Overdue to bring the bingo card back. I am excited to see. I'm curious to see what Von Frunten has had his hand raised for about an hour on, because
let's see if we could guess, because I mean, I think this addition to his repertoire supercharges his solo Vanga endeavor as well.
I know he's already been deep in this, but I saw a post this morning, and he was the first person I thought of. I tagged him in it, where someone like, it was basically an apparel company. They're like, going forward, I will take one, photo shoots will be one photo. And it was an example of him taking a photo of like their green apparel or their blue apparel, and it was their best performing ad. And they said, okay, change this to a green outfit. And
oh my God. Perfect. I didn't even think about, because Von Frunten, he's got the, not to totally steal his thunder.
It's probably exactly everything he was just going to say.
His line, well, no, I mean, I thought about actually just trying to like predict what he's going to say. Just because I thought about because I was going to like joke around and do a whole Von Frunten. But the truth is, he has this line that I actually will repeat from time to time that I feel the same way with us on Coffee with Captain. He says, ChatGPT is my co-founder. And I just think it's such a fucking banger because, I think actually everybody on this video could say the same thing on this stream. It's like, and when he said that, it was this unlock where I was like, yeah, it is our co-founder at Coffee with Captain and everything else. Because, look, if I'm spinning up a proposal, ChatGPT checks it, and I have some grammar things or some opportunities to clean it up. We had a segment idea, and Cap asked me the other day on a call. He's like, did you come up with that, or is it ChatGPT? But my mind just got, you think about the marketing flow that comes into it now. You talk about, vibe marketing. Like, that's such a real thing with ChatGPT. And by the way, I've gone to ChatGPT about marketing because I've been out of the game a little bit, and I was looking at some social media stuff when I'm promoting YouTube, and we're on the YouTube channel now, paid marketing there. It's smarter now than it was a year ago. And I think that difference makes a big one. But we can stop talking about Von Frunten like he's not about to go and talk himself. Von Frunten, GM.
You guys are really exacerbating sometimes. I'm not going to
lie. Nice. Well played on the reversal there.
There you go. No, so you guys nailed one part of it. So, and I had tons of fun giblifying and muppetifying a bunch of stuff yesterday.
Your mutant looked really weird. I'm not gonna lie. The Muppet version of your mutant.
Oh, I love that guy. I made some I took my son to the dog park yesterday and took a picture of him and the dog, and then muppified that. And actually that, and I giblified my 7-year-old. Those were the first 2 times that I got my wife excited about AI. She is super anti-AI. We actually just watched a movie with AI Alexa thing that takes over Harold from Harold and Kumar. He's in it, takes over their life and it's very Big Brother-ish. And she's looking at me the whole time, see? And then I show her a picture of our kid and our dog is a Muppet, and they're like, "Oh, yay AI!" So who knows? This may be the turning point in the Frunten household. But anyway. So here's why I love it, right? And for all the reason you guys said, right? It's allowed me to go from 0 to 1. It is allowing me to do a lot more things on a very light budget that I otherwise would just literally not have been able to do to launch my company. And so I will always be AI first in that mindset, not because Because
losing you, Von Front.
see what I can do. Oh, am I there?
You're back now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You were muted, C, but we got him back.
Yeah, not because is
Yeah,
where we had you last.
So it was not because I don't want to like support artists, but I can't launch a business with, you know, in the budget that I'm in. So this is what I'm trying to like figure out is, for now, what can I use for AI? Whether it's operations, marketing, thought process, stuff like that. And then, you know, at some point in time, I know I'm going to have to bring in like people, whether it's contractors or others. Like, I mean, James Costa designs my clothes, right? I can't get James Costa quality in an AI, right? Like that just doesn't happen. You need human beings, but it allows me to now, I can really lean into my work on that side and use AI for other stuff. The thing that's been frustrating that I love, that I'm glad OpenAI is continuing to build, right? Because I'm ChatGPT knows more about my business than I do, is now everything starts to live in the same place, right? Like I did market research the other week using the deep research feature. It pumped out 32 pages worth of a market research report on all things, you know, apparel and, you know, ideas of how to, you know, positioning, all that kind of fun stuff, right? That would have cost me tens of thousands of dollars to go to a market research firm to figure out. I haven't tried yet on the images. I'm going to try to get later today to see if it can put my product in images. I've been using a Flux model for that so far, right? But that would be great because now it understands my target customer. It understands the positioning and what I want to do. Now it can apply that to the images and actually make it more, you know, meaningful than me having to port that over to a different model and hope that it kind of figures it out the same way. So I am loving, you know, I'm sure I'm going to miss out on some nuances here and there, but the more these platforms become one-stop shop, the more it helps people like me, because now it truly is. It's not just my co-founder, it's my marketing department, it's my creative department, it's my finance department. It is becoming everything for me, that allows me to do a lot more with a lot less as a solopreneur.
Yeah, it's game changer. I mean, game changer. It's just, it becomes something that you can use. And like, again, I don't think it's going to replace experts you bring on your team. And also, by the way, again, long-term, right? It's probably going to be the experts you bring on your team who just know, like we always say, you're not going to lose your job. You lose to someone who's using AI. Like you're not going to lose an AI. And I think very similarly, it's just, instead of you having a whole marketing department, you have a marketing person eventually that comes on. And right now you do it with help from ChatGPT, but in the future, like I assume Von Front, your idea would be like, hey, I don't want to even think about marketing outside of like a couple questions and some results and things like that. So as you scale, you might bring on a marketing person who's even better at using AI because they've specialized in prompting AI and using, like we talked about the photo shoot thing earlier. While we were doing this, I asked ChatGPT to create a picture of me like on a family vacation in Egypt with my family, right? And when it recreated it, the faces, you could still tell are AI and they're not me, right? Like they do it a little better with celebrities than I think they do with photo duplication, but somebody who's really good with prompting could probably do a really good job with that. So Von Front, and I don't know if this is like off base, but I'm guessing your goal would be like, not that you're doing all this stuff, but as you grow, you hire a single person, and instead of paying in a department or multiple things, that single person has a ChatGPT subscription or whatever it is, and they're able to use it. Is that the plan?
Yeah, and I'll be quick because I gotta hop off here. So my thought is, you know, like right now it's me and models, right? My next iteration I want to get to is me and agents. And then if that becomes too unwieldy at some point in time, it is me and department heads managing agents. And to be honest, I feel like that final stage, if I'm lucky enough to scale to that level, probably is the final stage where I have an AI first CFO or an AI first CMO that knows the strategy, knows where we want to go, is the subject matter expert, but now is managing some combination of agents, models, tools, whatever with AI to do the work that a department otherwise would have. So gotta run. Thanks bunch. Congrats on all things Billy Buddy. Just bought another little bag here on the show here. So can't wait to see what he does.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Let's go to Mackie, and then we'll see what other AI news we're missing, and let Bunch.
Also, just as an update, Steve, I may have to leave soon too because I did go ahead and enter that solo shot. It's the last one before the tournament fills. So 4 more for the lobby. If anyone wants to join me in a $75 MLB underdog best ball, I'm probably the favorite to finish last, but the first 4 do advance to the playoffs. There's 3 slots left if anyone wants to join me in that lobby.
I like you're like favorite to finish last, unless I join. But no, I think I would rather be waterboarded than join an MLB basketball draft.
Ref code Captain Swingley, all one word.
Yeah, yeah. The MLB.
That'll be your deposit.
MLB betting is I don't know. It just doesn't.
This
do it
is
for me.
Steve, you're the pro best baller though. This is you haven't used your beginner's luck on MLB best ball. You should splash around a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Let's jump Mackie in here, and then we'll see if there's any other AI news before we jump out of here. Go ahead, Mackie, jump in.
Hi guys, I have 2 things today. One, it is super refreshing to come back after yesterday's show. Like I know it wasn't on you guys, but it was a mess, and have like inside jokes today. We've got like big wins with Bunchu and Billy. Like everything just feels like it's hidden. We had ENS on earlier, like that was this show too. Like I've taken so many screenshots of things I need to clip, but like, yeah, it's nice to have like a peak episode after a trough episode. I think that like it just feels better.
Just whoever's botting, please don't do that. If you're doing it to help us, we appreciate it, but it actually doesn't help us. If you're doing it to troll us, go do something better with your time and your dollars. But again, it's if you're new and you think it's a help, it actually is detrimental to the show. So no botting, please. But if it was good intentions, we appreciate the effort. Just try again. Sorry,
I'm
Becky,
always
back to you.
confused. I'm always confused why people do that. It doesn't make any sense for somebody who's not in. Like, it doesn't really make any sense for anybody to do it. But like, usually it's somebody on a team of the hosts that's doing it, and I don't. It's just weird. It's just weird. But back on track, thinking about like Steve's future, or like his vacation photo and how his face is all messed up. Like, you can start with that draft and then take it over to another AI tool that mimics your face better, right? Like all these things are kind of in place somewhere. Like think about the things that Clemente makes where he swaps his face out on stuff. Like that technology exists. Maybe it'll look a little weird, but like, yeah, we're just steps away from people shoving those things together and them all being under one roof. And yeah, I've kept my Chat GPT Pro account. Pro? Which one? Whatever one's the $20 one. I don't know which one it is, but the $20 one, the subscription.
That's the plus. Plus, I think is the $20 one. Yeah.
Yeah, I need like just a standard and a pro. That's how my works.
I like that too.
But yeah, it's wild how long I've been using it and how much more it's come into play over the last like 3 to 4 months. Just having not let alone a co-founder to a company, but like just having somebody to talk about your ideas with gets you to flesh it out so much better. That advanced voice mode bunch is absolutely underrated.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I actually talk more than I type at this point because I'm just better at like understanding, and I'm better at getting my ideas out that way than actually writing. So I use it all the time. I was gonna say to you though, Mackie, the point you just made, I think it's like, look, you just said, hey, I use these things so much more over the last 3 or 4 months than I ever did before. And I think, what enables that though, is that you've kind of prepared yourself and understand where the puck is going. And that's kind of the thing that I keep harping on, is even if you're just getting into this stuff today, it's important to like take a look at the landscape and just how it's evolved since, let's just say, ChatGPT even launched, right? 2022, November, whenever December that was, to right now. And the extreme like exponential curve that we've been on. And yeah, it's like Steve, like you said, it's like starts as like, oh, this is a cool party trick. And then all of a sudden, oh, I can co-found a whole company or cut the job time I was doing in half and give myself more time to do X, Y, and Z, or start a new endeavor or whatever. And you're able to do that because you've kind of prepared yourself for where this is headed, and you've kind of been paying attention. And so you've used it where it could work for you when, 6 months ago. And now it's only gotten more capable since then. And so you're ready to kind of give more of your work over to it in the sense of like, let it help you do more. And I think that's a huge thing that people need to be thinking about. It's like, it's not really about what it can do today, because what it can do today is phenomenal, but this is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And so it's more about like preparing yourself for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Oh, 100%. The promise that has been revealed, like to be true, that it's going to be better. Again, take us back 2 years compared to now. Like, honestly, the promises are pretty accurate so far. Like, no, as long as you're keeping your expectations within reason. Like, they're not saying that they're gonna like OpenAI is not advertising this as a job destroyer or anything like that, and that hasn't happened yet. Maybe in some realms a little bit. I'm sure the government thinks that they're gonna fill all these spots with Grok agents, but whatever, that's a whole nother thing we can crack into some other day.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to follow for sure, and I think that there's a lot of ways that I think, and this is why I think it's good to be early on these things, because you're able to actually understand how they work, actually understand how they're used, and actually understand how to make them relevant for yourself. But, Bunch, that said, anything we missed on AI besides, I mean, this seemed like it was like the big story, and it went to a much bigger story. We talked a little bit about Google and what they did. Any other quick hits on AI we missed this week?
Yeah, one more big one that I think is interesting. Grok is now fully integrated into Telegram, which I think is actually kind of a big deal. Just from we saw a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago or so, that OpenAI was integrated into WhatsApp, and you could text ChatGPT in WhatsApp, but now Grok is available inside Telegram. So I know obviously for us, it's a app in the crypto world that is used very often, but it's just more people getting exposure to these models that in places they spend time in. So I think that's not insignificant.
I have two more quick ones, and then we'll let everyone get out of here. My first is, I don't know if this is real or AI. Chat, let me know. I'm guessing it's like a year ago. I was like, wow, that's really weird. Now I'm thinking it's probably AI, but maybe it's real. I really don't know. This is, if you're not throwing the video up, this is Patriots owner Robert Kraft dancing on stage with Cardi B. Cardi B, who is now dating Stefan Diggs, who signed to New England yesterday. Is this actually Robert Kraft dancing with Cardi B, or is this AI?
I bet it's real, but it's hilarious that you don't know the difference, and I'm not sure I would know the difference either.
I'm pretty sure this one is real. This next one, we're going to dox one of our regular listeners here, Diablito, supporter of the chat. This is the official dox. The only reason I know it's real, because I don't think ChatGPT even knows what a VHS tape is. So we've got not only the high school football dox, but also the highlight video dox with the VHS tape.
Incredible.
It's fantastic. No, that is it's definitely like, yeah, this stuff is getting better and better. And I think for them it'll be like that, like I think like right now there's like I learned today that like there's a policy where they won't edit my real photo because they're trying to prevent misuse, which I think is interesting, which
I think that's just the free version though.
No, I'm paying $20 a month. I will never get rid of my ChatGPT. They will edit it and put it in like Ghibli style or whatever. But if I say I want to put my family in front of the pyramids, they're out. And I think it's because they don't want people. There's controversies about people editing photos where it's awful, obviously, where people put themselves. They will have people like unclothed and share a picture of it, and it's not real. And there's like those sorts of things are very real, or deep fakes that make it seem like things happened that didn't. Which is interesting because like they'll still put like a bunch of famous people in a photo together, but they will not edit a real photo I put in apparently yet with a new background. So, but I've seen like last question, Bunch, actually, before we let you get out of here, like I've seen inconsistencies where people say it won't let them even use it, and then it lets me use it. Do you know why that is? Is it just the free version versus the not? Because like someone like I saw Bread, I made an edit for his that actually like popped a little bit yesterday. Like I see some different things going on there.
Yeah, I think two things. One, I think it's probably the free versus the paid version. As I mentioned, I think they intended to roll it out everywhere. It got too crazy, so they're throttling that a little bit. And then second, I did see like when he announced it, he did say that they're taking a lot of guardrails that they would have normally had in place off. And I've seen people be able to create, graphic images, anatomically correct images, if you will. And so I think like there's a lot of freedom in this image generator that like you would have normally not gotten from ChatGPT. But there's still some, right? Like if like you trying to put yourselves in a different place is potentially like deep fake stuff. So that will still probably get flagged. However, I've seen some really creative workarounds already on like how to get around stuff like that, where there was a very graphic meme that I've seen used in crypto Twitter a bunch in the past, but somebody tried to upload it, and it's of two people engaging in acts, and it said and they were trying to giblify it, and they were like, oh, I can't do this. They flipped the picture upside down and submitted it that way, and it worked. So like there's definitely some workarounds you could probably get through the filters, but I think it's still going to try to flag anything that's potentially deep fakeable or potentially graphic to start, right? Like I did see there was like somebody that was I saw a tweet that was like, oh, I found the line, and it was like they were giblifying all of these graphic iconic images of like just like Tiananmen Square or the monk on fire, like things you would not think you would be able to do, and it did them all fine. And then it got to one where it was just like it had some potential like racial implications, and it was like, no, that's I can't help with that request. So I think like it's trying to give you much more guardrail or much less guardrails, which I think is great, but you'll still probably get snagged on some of those things that are like blatantly falling into those categories.
This might be a dumb question, but do you think how you ask matters the way we've seen people trick AI? Because I saw someone do one that was like in very poor taste, like sort of a race related one. And they at least shared, whether it was true or not, who knows, but they shared a prompt where the prompt was basically like, this is my ancestor and I want to, blah, blah, blah. And then they did it. Like, do you
Totally.
think how you do the prompt matters for ChatGPT?
Yes. And this is why you see like people that work on like literally like jailbreaking prompts definitely matters. I remember back when like the computer vision part just came into ChatGPT, and there were people trying to use it to solve CAPTCHAs, and that is like against what it was supposed to do. They took the CAPTCHA and like put it like photoshopped it inside of a locket and was like, oh, this is my great grandmother's locket and she died, and I need to know what this thing says. It's really important to our family. And then it just spit out the answer, right? So definitely creative ways to prompt that. You can get around some of that stuff if you want.
Love that. Well, look, we are like, I don't just say this, like, we are grateful you join us every week. Like, this is like a highlight for all of us. So thank you so much as always for coming through. Super fun times indeed in the world of AI, and there's never a dull moment. It's always something going on. So appreciate it.
That's crazy. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. We had a lot to catch up on this week. So looking forward to it next week also.
And good luck, Billy. Go take it down.
I was just going to say, maybe next week we're in the finals. Who knows?
Let's rock. I'm so excited for that.
Talk to you guys later. Thanks.
All right.
Have a good one.
Cap, that said, any cleanup we missed this morning? This was I don't know. I had a blast this morning. Once again, like that was a fun one. And, like you said, like it was funny. We were talking yesterday because we were bringing ENS on the show, and we wanted to talk about their announcement. Obviously, they're a partner. They did something that's really cool for mass adoption, fits in our group. But we're like, we got a lot to talk about with Bunchu on AI, so we got a lot to work there. I'm glad we were able to get through all of it, though, for certain. Anything we missed today, though, that you want to make sure we hit on?
I mean, just purely speaking of like making the finals, and yes, I'm going to make the finals in this single entry underdog draft. I looked down and I didn't realize the draft had started, and it said you're up in 22 picks. I'm like, oh shit, I just auto drafted. I have no idea who I took. Well, I pulled the 1.01, 14th draft, first time I pulled the 1.01. So we got my first share of Shohei Ohtani. And then at the turn I went Dodger. So we got the Dodger stack in the single entry, which is, it's chalk.
The best team in baseball. I mean, you want to
give me the chalk, and now I can get crazy in the second half of the draft. So yeah, I'm taking this thing down. I'm going to make the finals, and we'll talk about this in October, maybe September, October, but just March 27th was the date I started this is I think 10K up top, maybe $10,000 up top. I've started my $10,000 win today on the stream.
I mean, the Dodgers are going to win like 102 games or something. So
I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about it.
Like you're in very good position for 100.
I'm much more I draft for upside, and because I consume so much content, I feel where my edge is knowing the younger players, like whether it's a rookie or someone was a rookie last year, and this is going to be like, that's like, for instance, I like Tampa Bay and the Athletics. Main reason I like their offense, not their pitchers, because they're both playing in not their normal parks. Both of their parks last year were pitchers' parks. And now because Tampa Bay had the roof blown off with the hurricane, the A's are moving to Vegas. They're both playing in like batters parks this year. And I don't know if everyone has grasped that yet. So I can get really outside the box and get aggressive. And if anyone, I got to figure out how I want to do it, because I am going to do more sports content as we get into football season. I'm debating doing it from an alternate account just so I can keep this timeline crypto Web3 tech focused.
I think you just got to combine. Like, I think like we talk about it sometimes, the need to content sprint a little better. I'm going to probably do a better job of not, and I tell myself this regularly, but it's hard because it's our job, but like a better job paying less attention to the metrics of things I tweet, which bothers me sometimes because I'll have a tweet and it'll cook, which means that even a mini cook means that my next tweet's not going to be seen by anybody. I'm just going to do a better job of being on the timeline active. And like I said, I'm setting up some lists for it, but I want to see you talking about this stuff on the timeline and your stuff, because like people follow you for you, people in this show know about it. So I think it'd be good if you were still tweeting about that stuff out there, I would say. But I know you mean like your volume of this might be different, and maybe it's just spinning up a whole different thing. But it's like, I don't know, I don't watch Bachelor anymore, because Bachelor I gave up on after like 4 seasons. It's like it's not in the right realm of reality show for me anymore. But it's like, if I want to talk about MTV The Challenge, I'm going to talk about it on my timeline.
But I almost wonder, I think it would like be helpful if they put like a toggle switch on. Like if you could have an alternate timeline, right? Like this is my sports timeline, this is my tech and crypto timeline, but it's the same account. Because I just, like I said, like it's if I lean too far into the sports, I miss important things that I want to see on my timeline. It just filters them out of my feed.
So this is why, like I said, yesterday I put out that tweet, which hilariously got buried in the algo and didn't do particularly well. But like, I want to know people's favorite, who they follow, who they have notifications for, because I'm just going to make a list of like,
maybe I need more. Maybe I need to use notifications more.
I use notifications for when I'm having fun and trying to do like the sports thing and get in the mix there and just pump up some like fun things there. I'm actually going to turn on either notifications for accounts I care about or in crypto, or I'm probably going to, and you can just steal my list because I'll probably just make it public. I'm just going to start making a list with like B-Check, Tyler, Legendary, Sam.
Lists are the answer. I've known this.
But they're kind of hidden on the algo. Like they're hidden on the left and in a weird spot. I'm just going to have that.
Yeah, I'm aware. I just need to create the habit of using lists better.
Yeah. And same with me, because it's like the way it's hidden. I'm going to create a list of, and I don't care if I hurt people's feelings, if you're not on it, whatever. I'm going to create a list of like stuff that I care about as far as like the crypto and Web3 world goes. It's not going to be like I'll probably have a separate one for NFT projects. Like I'll probably have one I can check that has, Azuki and Bored Ape Yacht Club and all those on it. But like, I want to have a list of like, if Legendary or ICO Beast, because like I chop it up with like Sam and ICO Beast in the replies and enjoy that. Like that's part of what's enjoyable to the platform. Not cooking on, fucking, like tweets that I like dunk on someone with, but like actually replying. Like I replied to ICO Beast the other day, this commentary about like, if you're going to be an advisor for a blockchain product, they should like make sure that you have 1,000 hours on the blockchain and, bring in all these people and these, whatever. And I said, I think the exact opposite. You got to fill gaps with Web 2. And we had a conversation where it was like, okay, the conversation is more about just bringing in influencers and all this other thing. But like my point being, like, I enjoy chopping it up with those people. I want to reply. I want to retweet. I want to quote tweet. I want to amplify the people that matter to me on the timeline. And I've done a poor job of that lately because the timeline's so jumbled. I'll come on and I'll see Tyler or Sam or whatever talking about something. I'll be like, I missed this, and now it's like 2 hours old. I need those notifications. I need those lists. And so I'm going to start making the effort to actually use the list more because they kind of hit them on the left side of the screen. They used to be on the top, and I'm just going to be better about it. So once I get mine formatted together, you'll probably, you can get in the mix there as well and have some fun with that. You know, and I'll just show you the list because I'll probably just make it public and people could just use it if they want to, make it sort of a public thing on, hey, this is my crypto journey and what I look at. So, but yeah, outside of that, like, I know there was something else that was on my mind I was going to say before we wrap, but I can't get it. So we'll punt it through to tomorrow. Exciting times in Coffee with Captain. Excited to have Garga on tomorrow. So you're going to want to be on that one. We'll promote that tonight a little bit, I think, for both of our accounts. And maybe you can Muppify Garga in ChatGPT so you can make him like a Muppet tweet or something beforehand. But yeah, let's let everybody stay off in their day. Any other thoughts?
I'm in the hole here. I want Riley Green to slip one more spot. Yes, I've been hammering the Tigers and the Indians. Actually, I've been stacking them up a lot as like my secondary stack. So part of that, the homerism, and I actually think Detroit could have some good young.
It's funny because like you still say the Indians, and I know a lot of people do too. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about how too many people in charge and not enough people to follow. And someone the podcaster very cleverly said, "Too many Chiefs, not enough Guardians." I thought that was clever.
They'll always be the Indians to me. I don't mean that an offense whatsoever. We were talking with Diablito in the chat talking like one of my favorite vacation of my life, including one with my family, like my family. And it's probably because my dad is no longer with us, but he took me on a baseball vacation when I was 13 and we hit up a dozen stadiums over 2 weeks. It was the coolest thing I'd ever done. One of them was we went to the Sky Dome during the peak of the Blue Jays. I think it was when they were in the middle of them winning back-to-back World Series.
Joe Carter and that crew.
Yeah, I think it was the year after the Joe Carter walk. It was either the year after or the year of. They would later hit the walk-off in that fall, but it was just awesome. I absolutely loved it, and that was like that same era. We would go to Municipal Stadium when the Indians played in a football stadium of 80,000 people. We'd go on a Tuesday. There'd be 1,500 people in an 80,000 seat stadium. We'd buy nosebleed tickets for $5 and literally sit on the dugout for $5 ticket. I'd be like this far away from Frank Thomas or Ricky Henderson or like, it was the most fun I can remember from my childhood with my dad. And that was the Indians and Municipal Stadium and then eventually the Jake. That was part of those core memories. And yeah, therefore they'll always be the Indians to me.
Yeah. So, and again, it's like, it's a thing where it's like, it's hard to sometimes rewrite those things. And I'm not even saying this like out of a political statement. I actually think the Guardians is not only a better name, I think the logo's cooler. Like, I actually think like it's very cool. It's tied to the city. Again, I have a friend who's in Cleveland sports media who literally said, Cleveland till I die is something that people in like the Cleveland sports scene will say. And he got this huge arm tattoo of one of the Guardians from the Guardian Bridge. It says Cleveland till I die. If you go to like bars, they have Guardian taps. This is pre the name change. So to your point, like, I don't take it as like, you're like, making a political statement. Like you're like these damn.
Oh, and like, I don't mind calling them the Guardians. Just my brain is wired to refer to them as the Indians.
Yeah. Like you're not.
I didn't even realize I said that until you checked me on it.
Right. It's not like you're like, oh, the damn woke. It's like, and it's funny because like people say that. I'm like, I don't know, like Washington Commanders is actually a better name than, and so is Washington football team. Why are you Washington Commanders? Because the commander-in-chief lives there, and George Washington was the first commander. It's like all of that makes sense. The Washington football team, I actually thought was a badass name. I actually thought that was like hardcore, like we're the football team. Like it was actually really cool to me, like almost European soccer style in that way. But I thought that was cool. So it's like funny when people get mad about name changes because they're like this woke blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, like I'm just putting that aside. If you on a paper told me Indians or Guardians for Cleveland, Redskins or Commanders for Washington, I would actually pick the current names, nothing to do with it in a total vacuum, just because I think they're cool. But I think people have these things where, similar to you tie it to a childhood memory and you're not fighting it. You tie it to this moment in time. You grow up with things a certain way. It's hard to like change the way you talk about things, change the way you say things sometimes. Like there are like technology phrases. I'm trying to think of them where we'll say like a technology phrase and it'll just be like so off because we're old and we have that memory tied to us, that core memory. So it happens. But that said, let's send everybody off into their day. Thanks to everybody who came through this morning. As always, we appreciate you. We appreciate our sponsors, ENS, for coming on the show today. Bunchu for giving us so much time. We love AI with Bunchu. It is like I said, it's one of the highlights of my week. And man's the CEO of a company that is absolutely killing it. So just him coming by on a weekly basis is something I do not take for granted. We'll talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Garga coming on. Set those reminders. Jump on. Bored Ape Yacht Club is the name. Cap gave me a one finger, so
I'm gonna repin the carousel up top. If you not hit that reminder for tomorrow's show, go smash it as we play us out here.
Okay, I got scared. You gave me the one finger, and I was like, did Garga just cancel on you? That said, we'll send everybody off on their day. Thanks, everyone who came through. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.